Welcome to the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships here in Hotel Schiphol in Amsterdam. I'm your host, Rob, and I'm joined by Dan. Look at Dan, dressed up for the occasion, because this is the final round of the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships. We've had 5 blistering rounds. This is the 6th round to determine who will be the world champions. And I guess, jumping from the off, the big news is that it won't be the former champions.
Yeah, massive. Team England in a huge upset, lost in round 2 and in round 5, dropping games against both the team we're about to see and the USA, meaning that it is anyone's game. We also saw Team France go down. We've seen most teams take the knee at some point in this competition, meaning it is wide open. Now, there's obviously front runners, but anyone's game.
And we're going to talk about those front runners in a minute. Don't forget, if you've never watched anything like this before, there are 24 teams of 8 players battling it out. They play across the rounds. Each one of those pairs up. They play a match. There's a certain amount of points that they get for their team based on their results in the match. That goes into a pool, and then whoever has the largest pool wins. But those pool of points are going to count towards your grand total, and that will be the team that is crowned the winner. And at the moment, if I've got this right, Denmark have currently got a 2-point lead over France, but that's it.
Yeah.
A 2-point lead. And this is really big because France are also playing on another table against Sweden, who we saw last round. So it's going to be a a 4-way play for the title. It's possible for Sweden to win, but some conditions have to happen.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that later. It's possible for Belgium to win. It's possible for France to win. And it's possible for Denmark to win. All 3 of those teams just need massive wins. And Denmark are the front runners.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it's going to be really, really tight, really interesting to see. We've had a couple of questions asked which game we chose. It was a really hard decision to make in the end. We had 2 tables we really wanted to cover. However, both with teams that we'd seen before. However, ultimately, we made the decision to choose the table featuring the 2 highest placed teams we could, being our number 1 and our number 3 slot.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, it's just we chose the teams we chose, and off we go. Hopefully one day we'll get a French team on, but we don't have room for the ref that following around all weekend. So we are going. That's true. We don't have room for it in the streaming hall. So we're going to get on to our really exciting match between Denmark and Belgium. I got a huge amount of love for the Belgish team.
I've actually been following one of the Belgian teams. They're for this entire event. We will get to why shortly, but should we jump into these lists, Rob?
Yeah, we're going to start right now. I hope everyone enjoys the show. If you do enjoy the show, then please do like and subscribe. A massive amount of love to you. It would be really good if you can help support the show. Let's get into it. Also, a special shout out. A special shout out to everyone right now before we get started. The Alliance Open crew who've been running the event. They've been amazing.
The refs are awesome.
A massive shout out to the refs who've been brilliant monitoring the event. All of the teams. A special thank you to you. A special thank you to the live crew. Dan, John, Mike, Mark, and Ziggy.
Absolutely. And I just want to throw a shout out to anyone anyone who's subscribed after watching this and being like, this is rad. War Dollies can be a competitive tournament event just like esports, just like a field
sport. Look, there's a YouTube.
And then,
Go on, you go.
No, I'm just saying, spectacular. So if you've subscribed because you're like, that's rad, that's awesome, because that only means we're going to be able to bring you more.
We will show you the pairings for the round in a moment. We're just waiting for that. I think we might actually have that graphic, or we're going to come back to that graphic in a minute. We're going to go through the list because the players are going to start deploying as we speak. In fact, they're already speaking, so Dan, we are going to have to be like lightning.
Let's get
Mouth.
it super quick.
Oh my God, table 1. We've jumped straight to Mouth, and this is absolutely... oh, yes.
Wow, that'd be a great game. We'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah, okay, amazing. Mouth has been paired into Sevastos playing his Greyfjord. So this is a Slaanesh force, the Slaanesh force that beat Ronja, the absolute barnstormer in the final game against Sevastos with his Fyreslayers. Dan, take us through the Pretenders list.
Yes, so this is the Pretenders list that ended Ronja's winning 20-game streak. So super quickly to jump into it, it's Pretenders, going to give him some more CP. We've got the Contorted Epitome, we have the Lord of Pain, we've got a 22 unit of Blissbarb Archers, 2 11-man units of Blissbarb Archers, and then very heavy on the Seekers. We've got 5 Blissbarb Seekers, 2 units of 5 Slickblade Seekers, so combat choppy people, and then 10 10-strong unit of Slick Blade Seekers, meaning that it is a very combat-forward Slaanesh army with a lot of speed, but not a lot of durability.
Yeah, and they're up against a Fyreslayers force. I'm just going to find this for everyone right now. Fyreslayers army, which as we know is a combat-oriented army. Auric Runefather, Runemaster, a Battlesmith, 2 Flame Keepers. Those 2 Flame Keepers are going to become pretty clutch. 30 Volkite Berserkers, 2 lots of 10 Volkites, and 15 Hearthguard Berserkers with a cheeky, inspired by Jeremy Vizier from Team America, Grimwrath Berserker with the artifact, the draft of the Magmal Ale. So we are going to be playing... we should talk about that very quickly. So there are 4 battle plans. There are 4 battle plans being played over the course of the match, and this one is position over power. So there are 2 objectives on the side, and if you do, you get 1 VP for those flank objectives if they're controlled by galley champs.
An additional VP.
An additional
plus
VP
for
plus 1 VP, but they do disappear round 4. So that's what this mission is, and it will jump to table 2, where we have Morten with his Knights of the Empty Throne playing a blinding game against the next round for Team Denmark against David Monnom playing his Casual Overlords for Team Belgium. Belgique.
All right. So Morten coming off of a very tight loss in the last round. He looked very competitive, but just got pipped at the post. He is playing Knights of the Empty Throne, meaning he is led by a 6-strong unit of Varangard as the general, followed with Thedra Skullscryer and a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. We've got 10 Chaos Knights and then an additional unit of 6 Varangard and a unit of 9 Corvus Cabal. And then Thedra's OG crew, the Godsworn Hunt from Shadespire. So a very tight list.
Very, very tight list. And that's paired up against our Barak Nar Karajon Overlords. So we've got a Chemist, a Navigator, an Admiral, and another Admiral, 15 Thunderers, 10 Thunderers. Count them if you've got nothing to do. 10 Arcanaut Company, an Arcanaut Frigate, and then an Arcanaut Ironclad. So 1 big boat, 1 medium boat, 15 Thunderers, 10 Thunderers are going to shoot their way through. Don't forget, it's all about those Galician champions holding the board edge. It's going to be quite an interesting match because you definitely have got, thanks to the Aether Chemist, the additional Rend available to shoot out the high heavy armor saves of the Slave Starters, but Slave Starters have run and charge. Don't forget, it's not only just about winning a couple of games here. Each team, each one of these teams wants to dominate their opponent to make them more likely to win the event.
Yeah, because they want those overall points to keep them really high on the ladder. Now, Rob, this next map, we are playing ours for the taking. So the next 2 games, we'll be playing this battle plan. Now, this battle plan, 3 objectives and a diagonal you can see across the center there, with a long deployment allowing you to defend your objective, but also load up that aggression. And the decision is, do you go for your opponents or do you keep yours? And the big twist on this one is that you get an additional victory point for holding the center objective with a Galician champion. So lots of points on the board here. And in this match, Rob, we have a Sylvaneth mirror match.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So Quentin de Boer playing for the Belgique team, playing for Belgium, and now they've got Winterleaf. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then Casper, who we saw play last time with Allherd. This is pretty crazy. And he's talking about a little bit more. Both of the 2 Sylvaneth forces, and Dan, what did I say at the start of the tournament? Didn't I say Sylvaneth? Oh, it seems we've got the wrong armies on the wrong table.
Yes.
Table 3.
Table 3.
Okay, so we're just going to get that changed up. So table 3 and table 4. All right, okay. So our table 4 overlay needs changing as well, please, or updating. That would be really great. Dan, let's just talk about table 3 instead. We'll talk about the Sylvaneth list in a minute.
Talk about Sylvaneth in a minute. So let me just quickly jump then. We'll talk about beasts. We saw this list piloted. We've seen it multiple times in different forms so far. We saw it piloted very, very well in the last round. So super quickly, we will jump through it. It is Allherd, meaning it's going to be bringing models back from the dead. A Doom Bull General who can assist its units in charging in the combat phase, and then Be'lakor, the Dark Master, with that ability to turn off enemy units. We have a big chunky unit of 9 Bulgors with paired cleaving axes for extra chop, but not as much survivability. 6 Bulgors with paired cleaving axes for extra attack. 10 Ungors, a 20-strong unit of Ungor Raiders, little subhuman goat people with bows, and then a Cockatrice, which is going to be trying to set its petrifying gaze on the opponent and make it harder for them to hit.
So Quentin is definitely be playing Lumineth Realm Lords and not Winterleaf as well, so the overlay also needs fixing on table 3.
Correct.
As well. So if we could just get that done, please, chat. Special shout out to the table bosses who have been updating over 8 matches worth of data in about 8 minutes every round.
Yeah, how their brains haven't exploded is incredible.
They're going really well. So we just need to get 3 and 4 looked at. That'd be really great. Okay, so we have got a lot of BC Chaos, Be'lakor on the board as well. Huge fan of this. I think this round, their match may have even started. So he's going to get Charlie to update us. Well, again.
Remember, Beasts of Chaos don't deploy much, if anything, on the board, so there almost certainly will be nothing on there.
Okay, we do need to get that updated. Oh, Tebow is still deploying. Okay, so the guys are going to sort that out for us now.
Right. So what's the Lumineth list that is going to be facing off against these burly beasts, Rob?
Well, so Tebow, who's playing his Lumineth list, is going to be shocking everyone in that there's no tech list in this list.
I'm already excited, Rob. Tell me what we've got instead of tech lists.
It's quite interesting. So while our French versus Swedish team, we have got some different lists as well, the lists have kind of filtered to the top, and also the armies and players that have filtered to the top, which is quite interesting in my personal opinion, is that there's no tech list in this Lumineth list, which is actually quite saucy because the other Lumineth list that we have this event is Geometrica in this round as well. So they're very different to each other.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And very different to the almost every other list we see.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. The lists that are filtered out to the top have been the unique ones, not the bad ones.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, if we're going to Lumineth Realm Lords, I am going to find this for you now. But it is 3 units of 5 wind charges. You can already see them deployed on the screen as a screen right here. There are 2 units of 20 Sentinels. There are 2 units of 10 Sentinels. There is a unit of Fast Riders and Life Takers. And then we've got Leor, Ulthral, Hurricane Wind Mage, and a Cenari Cathalar. So pretty interesting. There's a lot more Sentinels, 60 Sentinels on the board.
Yeah, lots more shooting, and rather than focusing and relying on that magic, just relying on good old damage.
Yeah, of course. Okay, this is going to be really interesting. Yeah, the Geometrica list does belong to the Belgians. So table 3 is updated now, so there you go. Thibaut at the top against Casper at the bottom. Let's move on to table 4. We unfortunately still got a problem with that. So Dan, take us through everything that's happening on table 5 between Runeholst. Oh, actually, let's talk about the battle plan on table 5 first. We have got, we're playing Path of the Champion, Dan. I'm pretty certain. Path of the Champion. So there are 4 objectives, and if a Galician champion holds the 2 that are in these territories here, in no man's land, then you score. Perfect. Then you get to do 2 battle tactics with your Galician champion instead of 1.
Yeah, which means you can absolutely spike in points. But as we've seen in a couple of rounds, you can run out of battle tactics, meaning that you run out of the ability to score. Okay, so the Lumineth list we see on this, as we said, very different. We've seen a lot of Helon shooting castles with techless and 2 units of 20 Sentinels. This is not that list. This is Geometrica. It is a durable mountain list featuring, unfortunately, Teclis, the big spelly wizard himself, a Cathalar, a Cryi wizard, and then the Light of Altharion, an absolutely choppy little beast on foot. We've got 2 units of 10 Venari Wardens, a unit of 5 Venari Dawn Riders, and then the big mountain cow, the Alarith Spirit of the Mountain, with a huge hammer ready to smash some face. Also, because this is a magic-heavy list, we're looking at an Umbral Spell Portal and a Rune of Petrification, all wrapped up in a tidy little battle regiment, meaning it will be a tasty 1 drop.
Lovely, absolutely lovely. And then we're going to be going into the all-herd Beasts of Chaos, doing really well at this event, in my personal opinion. Dan, don't know what your thoughts are?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They've been killing it. It's been interesting seeing the different beast lists. We've seen multiple different herds chosen, whereas, say, a lot of other factions that have been popular, Gits, for instance, it's all the same, all identical, where a bit more flexibility in this Beast of Chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Beast of Chaos, you've got a Doom Ball, so 2 of them, and that's going to be very good for being able to ambush onto these objectives here, as they will be Galician champions, meaning you could do 2 battle tactics. Then Be'lakor, and you can see Be'lakor being deployed. Oh, not deployed yet, in fact.
Yeah.
2 units of 6 Bulgor, 20 Ungor Raiders, another 10 Ungor Raiders, and then a unit of 10 Ungor. So a little bit different to how I would particularly run it. Quite interestingly, no Great Bray Shamans.
Yeah.
So the ability to do Rituals of Ruin off the board a little bit reduced. But it does mean that you bring the Doom Balls on with the ability to obviously do the combat phase charge.
Yeah.
You double that up. Then you're potentially doing all these sorts of cool charges in your opponent's turn when they've Be'lakored a unit.
Massive,
Really, really interesting.
Shut them down and then close them out with an axe to the face.
Exactly. And I should be able to go out to table 4 now. I think I got it. Nope. Let's move on to table 6. And Dan, we've got Julian Harent with his Host Arcanium Tzeentch list representing Team Belgium against Sven with his Barak, Urbaz, Karajan Overlords. Lists for everyone in the chat, if they would like to go check them out, are here. Don't believe Nightbot is a liar. And then and that's against these. So Tzeentch versus KO. Dan, how you feel about it?
Oh, I'm excited for the KO, but I think Tzeentch are going to be a real challenge for them. Obviously, dwarves are better than everything else out there. The only thing better than a dwarf is a dead elf. But let me tell you about the dwarves that are going to be killing some Tzeentch. They're Barak Urbaz, which means we'll be seeing something very soon that I will mention. We've got 2 Aether Chemists, one with a spell in a bottle featuring the Soul Scream Bridge. There's an Etheric Navigator, an Arcanaut Admiral, and the Endrin Master with Endrin Harness. Now, the big feature here is a Celestant Prime, the Hammer of Sigmar, ready to drop in and smash face at some point. We've got 2 units of Grunstock Thunderers, 115 and 110. A unit of 3 Endrin Riggers, which is going to be keeping that boat alive. And then the interns of the Mortal Realms, 10 Arcanaut Company. Now, the only boat in this list is an Arcanaut Frigate, no Ironclad, and not a heavy complement of combat, but it is decent with those Prudency shoots, keeping them alive. And as mentioned, Soul Scream Bridge and Galician Sharpshooters to pick out the champions.
What's interesting about Sven's list, compared to other Karajan Overlords lists that we've seen, is again, it's got a little cheeky difference. It's got that Celestant Prime.
Yeah.
I was about to tell you about the Tzeentch army. Absolutely no problem. So we have got, for this Tzeentch army, we have got a Disciple Tzeentch, Karas Fate Weaver, a Magister, another Magister, a Fluxmaster, 2 lots of 10 Karak Acolytes, 3 Screamers, and then 2 units of 9 Untamed Beasts and 6 Zangor Enlightened. And as far as I understand it, the Karajan Overlords have already given the first turn away.
No, Tzeentch had the choice and gave it away to the Karajan Overlords.
All right, okay, that makes sense. Because if you look, they've used these Karaks to screen out. This means when they do drop and shoot, they're going to be here. I wouldn't be surprised if this line happens to be 18 inches. As well, or their Untamed Beasts. They'll have done a pre-game move of 6 inches, creating this zone, dropping units down. So that's specifically... So that's why they would have paired them in. And don't forget, they've got this 6 Enlightened on disc. Now, actually, they're incredible because they have a 14-inch move. But don't forget, you've got Destiny Dice. So that Destiny Dice is going to give you a 26-inch threat range that's guaranteed, which is pretty exciting.
Why would you roll dice, Rob, when you can just choose the result?
Exactly. Okay, so that's table 6. We have we have Disciples of Tzeentch up against Karajan Overlords, playing on the battle plan where if you put Galician champions on these objectives, you will get to choose 2 battle tactics. Right, okay, so we're jumping over to table number 7, and this is a brand new series of battle plans. We've got Prize of Galette. So as you can see in the middle, there is an objective, an objective, an objective, an objective, and... Would you believe it, an objective?
Oh my gosh!
There are 5 objectives. What happens is, though, is the 3 that are currently in the middle are the only ones that can be active in the first round. You choose one, whoever's going second will activate one, and it's all about priority into turn 2.
Yeah.
Because whoever wins priority into 2 says, you have the turn, and I'll make my one active.
Slowly, the objectives are going to activate across the battlefield, so the battle spreads out as we go. Now, that's going to be really good for this Gloomspite Gitz army. That's what they love. They like to focus and spread.
Played by Casper.
Talk about Casper's Jaws of Mork,
Spiros.
a big chompy squig army. So we've got a Madcap Shaman. We've also got Scragrot the Loon King, because he's so fantastic. A Squig Boss with Nasher Squig and the Clammy Hand to be returning models from the dead. And another Squig Boss with Nasher Squig. We've got a unit of 15 Boiling Rock Bounders, a unit of 5 Boiling Rock Bounders, 10 Squig Hoppers, and a 36-strong Squig Herd. We are also featuring the Gobberpalooza and 6 Sneaky Snufflers. Now, we are in a battle regiment, but we also have a couple of other there, so they're going to be a few drops.
Yeah, of course. He's up against Calibron, and he is up against a Daughters of Cain army. Spiros is running this army. He's actually named the army the Starship Troopers. So he's got a Melusite Iron Scale. He's got 15 Bloodstalkers, a Slaughter Queen, and obviously Morathi. So Morathi and the Bow Snakes with some Heart Renders. It's a bit of a classic if you don't know how it works. It just does a lot of damage in the mid-board, wherever it can project power, which is about a 30-inch range. Dan, this is the perfect mission for them. The problem is they don't have a lot of screens. They actually don't have a lot of unit utility at all. So there you can see the bow snake's already deployed, but deployed in the corner. And the reason you'll see them being deployed in the corner against the fantastic Casper is specifically because being able to charge down and attack the castle that is KO. Is going to be very deadly and very, very powerful. And so it's not KO. Daughters of Cain, sorry.
Daughters.
And so it's you need to protect against that because they don't have a lot of pieces on the board, which I think is interesting. So you should be able to find out all of the pairings on the Pun Pun. Give it to the Pun Pun. If you're interested, go to the Pun Pun. Okay, so Spiros, so Daughters of Cain versus Jaws of Mork on Prize of Galat. We've got one last battle plan. One last game, Prize of Galet again. We have Alexander with his Guild of Summoners representing Team Denmark against Valentin representing Team Belgium with his his Heathen Knights of Slaanesh force at the bottom. Dan, be very surprised if this doesn't have 10 Slickblade Seekers in.
While you mentally summon up what this list is going to have, let me talk about what we saw last stream from Alexander's Disciples of Tzeentch. Now, they're Guild of Summoners, meaning we will see a couple of big birds brought onto the battle. However, again, bit unique in this list, Rob. There is an allied in Great Bray Shaman with Ghost Mist. We've got Kairos Fate Weaver, a Magister, and a second Magister. Again, different lists, and they're coming to the top. We've got 10 Zangors and 2 units of 10 Pink Horrors, 20 Splintered Fang, and 9 Untamed Beasts. Burning Sigil of Tzeentch, Chronomatic Cogs, Quicksilver Swords, different to almost every... We've seen a lot of Guild of Summoners lists being played across some of the top tables, but the one that's risen to the top, like the cream of the crop, it is unique, it is different, and it has something that no other list has.
I'd like you to know, at the list review show, I actually picked all of the current top 4.
You're the best.
Just FYI.
Rob, you better undislocate that shoulder because you've been patting yourself on the back for being really good at choosing these. However, it's almost like unique elements make you stronger versus...
it just means you thought about it more.
Yeah,
that's
true.
what it
You
means.
haven't just copied everybody else.
Yeah, you just thought about it more. Guild of Summoners, though, we've just talked about that. And then finally, the Godseekers army being represented for Team Belgium. Okay, so let's talk about that. And it is unsurprisingly, we have got a unit of Blissbarb Archers as the battle line, so it's 22 and 2 units of 11. We have a Contorted Epitome, a Keeper of Secrets, and the Mask of Slaanesh. That Mask of Slaanesh is actually going to be quite interesting into the Tzeentch army because it can deploy outside of 3 inches. Then we got a unit of, unsurprisingly, 10 Slickblade Seekers, so we can see them deployed at the bottom there. And then we have ourselves all the Blissbarb Archers and a Keeper of Secrets. So some people... And I think this is why the Belgian version of the list is actually really good. Some people have gone for multiple Slickblade Seekers, more Blissbarb Archers. What they've recognised is there's going to be one opportunity to put that unit of 10 Slickblade Seekers in, use Euphoric Killers, and then get as many Depravity points as they can.
Yeah.
In this situation, what we've seen is Valentin be like, do you know what, I'm going to do that twice, with a once per battle ability from that Keeper of Secrets, being able to pile in and attack twice. So the smart play there is just recognizing what the win condition of the army is and then taking into adding on to that win condition.
Yeah, of course.
Which I think is quite interesting. And again, maybe why we'll see one of those... why we see this army do so well.
Yep.
Right, so
we have one more that we haven't looked at, which is Table 4. We need to jump back to Table 4, where we have the Sylvaneth mirror match.
Now, I'm pretty certain that they're still deploying here. We're going to get John with our... okay, all right, we'll go.
Wow, okay. Should we fly through these lists then, because we're at the bottom of round 1?
It's really simple. On one side, there's Durthu, Alariel. For Christopher, there's Durthu, there's Alariel, there's a Tree Lord, there's a Warsong Revenant, and then we've got some Dryads. Yeah, and then on the other side, for Quentin Dubois, representing Team Belgium.
Tell me about this list, Rob.
We have Alariel, we have a Warsong Revenant, and also we have good old Gotrek.
Yes.
Gottrek's in the list as well, so it's quite interesting because Gotrek poses more of a threat maybe because he's much more difficult to kill, especially for Christopher's version of the list. But don't forget, we're playing those 3 objectives across the center right here. So these armies are going to clash pretty aggressively, which I think is going to be quite interesting.
And unfortunately for Gotrek, he is not fast, and he is surrounded by a swift army that is going to be dancing across this board. So if he can bring his axe to bear and catch up to any of those units, he'll chop them to bits. However, he needs to get there first.
Yeah, it's really or not. It's whether or not his bark is worse than his bite. That's the real question.
No, his bite is worse
than the bark.
Yeah, he's just got to get there. He's a dog in like you see a dog in a little wheelie chair where it's got to drag itself along. He's got big teeth. He's just not super quick.
Okay, all right.
No knees, short, stubby little legs.
I'm super into that. Right, okay. So I hope you're all excited. We're going to jump back to table 1. This is where we saw Mouth with his Pretenders army against Sevatis' Greyfjord army. And Mouth has already, Sevatos has already had his first turn.
Wow, blitz through.
He has gone very, very fast, and then Mouth is having his first turn. As you can see, he's running a unit of He's running over on the far left-hand side, our unit of Slickblade Seekers over onto the right-hand side, and then he is running another unit over onto the left-hand side as well. And then while he's doing that, he's pushing up some Blissbobs in the middle, and then he's going to be trying to put a load of pressure on. What he's definitely doing is creating some screens, and then pushing out. But Fyreslayers have got some prodigious power. So a pretty exciting match, all told. Those Fyreslayers have got to push into the mid-board, and we're already at the bottom of turn 1. And we've all, there's a Galician champion, as you can see right here. There's John showing it for everyone right now, grabbing that objective for the Fyreslayers. And those Slickblade Seekers are going to try and get a lot of depravity from that unit of 10 in front of them and the Galician champion, and try and charge both at the same time. Those Portos were stuck at home for a few turns. I think that's a good shout. I think what we might see is Mouth try and do what we saw in the previous game of trying to pin back the enemy. I was about to say, now, with a load of those screening units.
The thing is, Rob, he was able to do that much better last game because there were much fewer units for him to have to screen. There were only a handful, and they had to remain on the board. Now, this Fyreslayers army, they've got a lot more versatility. They're going to be able to tunnel, and they'll be able to pull it quite well.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Okay. It's okay, don't worry. Okay, this is going to be very interesting, and I'm excited to see how this pans out. Right. So on table 2, Morton has given away the first turn. Morton has given away the first turn. So that is the Slaves to Darkness army have given away the first turn to David with his Barak Nar army. And that's because, again, very much like all of the other matches, what they want to do is they want the KO have some what I call danger close shooting. So like Sentinels, it's more mid to short shooting. So you have to get close.
Yep.
And then that's great if you're a combat army, because then you just double them and then just surround them and beat them up.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plan. I think that we're going to see Morton do here. They might try and just grab one flank.
Yeah.
What David has to be careful of is that these units don't just charge. The units at the top don't just charge straight down to the bottom, because that will cause them a real headache.
Absolutely. He doesn't want to trade into shooting with his Vanguard, which is a big risk that he runs against this list.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad. Just for everyone at home, these are the current standings as we go through these games. You can see them there. Dan, what do you think about the top 4? Do you want to tell us about that?
Okay, so the reason that we are where we are, so our top 4, Denmark, France, Belgium, and Sweden, shockingly not featuring Australia, which is devastating and has broken my heart into so many pieces it shall never be returned. We have seen Denmark, though, hit the top of the pops with an absolutely savage run. They have come up against all of what would arguably be the best teams in the competition, and they have beaten them every single time. Now, some of those have been really, really tight. They have beaten France, they have beaten Sweden, they have beaten England, and they've beaten the USA. So they've really worked their way to the top. Now, France have also played an incredibly strong match, which is why they're very, very close, only 2 points behind, but they did go down in a tight round against them. Now, we have on table 1, we've got Denmark playing Belgium, and on table 2 at the moment, on the matchup pairings rather, we have France versus Sweden. Now, all of these countries are in with a shot to take out the win, depending on how certain other matches play out. But what is really important to note is that Australia is still in with a shot for 3rd place. And I just want everyone to appreciate that the Australians, after having a bit of a rough run and going down to Canada, they still are in with an attempt at 3rd place. And I think that's really, really big, really special for them. I'm super excited, though, to see, because Remember, this is a teams event, so your placement matters massively, and that is based off of your points. So if your nation, you might have 6 wins. We might see Denmark get 6 wins, but if they don't win by a high enough amount, then they're going to be in a position where they won't be able to get the win. That's really, really big, because France, if they cap, which is 120 points, and Denmark can't commit to the big win on theirs, then it won't matter that they've won 6 matches because they didn't win them good enough to get the points to be at the top.
Yeah, this is honestly very, very interesting, and I'm excited to see how the tournament pans out because we've got 4 hours left on this event. Only 4 hours to see what the situation is, how it's gonna pan out. I'm quite excited to see. So, very nerve-wracking, Dan.
Very nerve-wracking.
Okay.
Now, a question has been asked, are my butt cheeks safe from the tattoo? I did make a bet about a tattoo with Team Austria and about the result of matches between Team Austria and Team Australia, and I can confidently say I am safe.
Okay, so table 2, we're going to jump to table 3. We're going to jump to table 3. We just heard a priority is about to come up. Thibaut and Casper have already had their first turn. That's because you've got Beast of Chaos playing against this Sylvaneth castle, but not with Teclis. All of those Sentinels. I don't think we've seen much damage happen in the first turn from the Beasts of Chaos.
No, not at all. Just enough to score some points, I think.
Yeah, we've just brought some units on, and so now it's going to be all about this priority role.
Yeah. Now look down here. We've got Be'lakor in the back left-hand corner, tucked away next to the Herdstone, keeping it safe, and we're seeing a big.
Oh no! Apparently that's bad information. This is the Beast of Chaos turn 1.
Oh,
so it does look like Lumineth took the first turn. We saw a unit of Wind Chargers move over there, and now we're into. And then we saw their allied unit of Heartrenders drop on the objective. So Beast of Chaos have got to have their first turn. Over on the top left-hand side is a unit of Farstriders.
Oh, yeah. The very quick little, from the old Warhammer Underworlds, they're going to be popping down and running around just to pick up objectives. Now, really big, we've spoken about it before, but to touch on it again, Beasts of Chaos really want to win the priority into 2. They want to be able to decide where and when to commit. They want to decide where and when to commit their faction to, their deployment, their units, and what they have to do is bring them on in turn 2, meaning they really don't want to show their hand too early by bringing them on at the top of Battle Round 2, potentially setting themselves up from the double turn into 3. They would rather win that, give it away, force their opponent to play another round against an empty board, basically punching into the void, and then throw all of their models on turn 2, potentially win the double, and have a big old double slap.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really good. I'm very excited to see it. Okay, right. So we're going to move over to table number 4.
Table 4. We've got our Sylvaneth mirror match, and looking at that Sylvaneth mirror match, we're going to be seeing a lot of dancing. Now, I'm not even sure if they're finished. They're ready to go yet. They might still even be.
Well, we can see them right now. So you can see Quentin is being very relaxed. Quentin is being very relaxed and very chill right now. He's holding on to this backboard and he's making sure that Christopher doesn't take him off. Now, there's not a lot of screens available for either of the 2 players.
No.
So he is going to have to screen out that side of the board and he's going to have to be very conscious of what he's doing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, Rob, because both of these players are going to be wanting to put it together where they can throw their units forward, particularly the Durthus, particularly the Alariels, and then dance them back to safety before anything can strike back. So with both of them doing that, each turn the question is, how are they going to trade? Throwing out Durthus, throwing out those big hitter units, and then striking and fading away.
Again, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but this Sylvaneth match is indicative, in my opinion, of seeing, and they're both still deploying right now, indicative of different lists.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, by the way, the 2 Sylvaneth lists that are doing well at Worlds and the 2 team lists that are doing well at Worlds are indeed using Alariel. And that's pretty exciting, right?
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
at least it's different.
Well, for a very long time, Alariel, who is the goddess of the Sylvaneth, was pretty much an easy beat. If you saw her in a list, she was an absolute joke, and she was always going to get knocked around the board. So seeing her feature on teams at the very top, so this is teams placed 1 and 3 by a very tight margin at the moment, that's just something incredible, and it's amazing to see.
I'm very much enjoying it, and I think it's really good. Okay, so Dan, my question for you is, who do you think is going to take out the event? That has to be the question on everyone's lips right now.
Okay, so here's how it goes.
Thoughts?
Here's how it goes, Rob. Somehow, Ronya just wins the event solo. Solos all the other teams, gets the win, and then Australia podiums with her.
Okay.
But if I had to choose who I was putting my money on in this event, I'd have to say, I reckon we're going to see a big, big push from Denmark. If they get a big enough win here, they're absolutely going to lock it up. I would love to see Belgium take the win because you look at these beautiful people here and they are running Gotrek in their list. Give me more red-bearded fury. I would really, really like to see him get the kill, get the win. But we could see so many different ones. We could see so many different teams. They're all within striking distance of the top, and it would be really, really cool to see any of them take it out. I think the biggest interest, the biggest part, and I'd love to hear in the chat who you're rooting for, who you'd love to see get in the top spot or hit the podium. I think the really big thing is, with the last year's winners and two-time winners going down, Team England dropping a couple of rounds, we have seen a wide open tournament, and it's really filled a lot of these other teams with a fury. They've got a taste for it because now they might get the gold.
Thank you to Adam Kirillay for donating 100,000 hoof.
What's hoof? Hoofs. Is he donating hoofs for the Beasts game?
100,000 hoofs to the show to say thank you for supporting the stream. So,
that's awesome.
That's incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. That's so lovely. That's very, very kind. You love to see it. So thank you from everyone on the team. Yeah. Right, okay, so let's jump to these tables again. We are going over onto table 5. This is our Geometrica. This is our Geometrica army, and there's Rune. Rune leaning over the table. Rune, look at him. He literally is like, these are your dice. He looks at every single dice. And we currently have the... it's not you, it's me. Oh, wow. From Hungary. Wow.
Yeah, from Hungary.
Thank you so much.
The Huff from Hungary.
I'll go check this out now. But if we have a look, no, it does work. This is a situation. I want to talk about Rune's game. Oh my God! Look, great shot from Scrivo. Great shot. Yeah. Look at Rune dominate. That's a world championship shot. That
man. And you know what he does, Rob? We saw it in the last game. Most players, they want to get high. See him sitting down into his position of power. Most players, they want to get high. They want to get above a bird's eye view. This man gets a model's eye view. He gets down there amongst his troops.
The venue looks great. The tables look great. The players look great. This is just great Warhammer. Okay, huge fan of this. Okay, Ziggy has given us some great info, so I'm going to bring that up now. This is a position, if you're excited, to work out exactly what needs to happen for someone to win. Denmark need to better or equal France's result of up to 60-93 loss. Time to screen cap that for everyone at home and post that up to see if you want to know. France need to beat better Denmark's result by at least 3 points. Okay, that's what we need to do. France and Belgium win, but Belgium do not outscore France by at least 34 points. These are the winners.
That will get France the place.
Belgium can win if France and Belgium win, and Belgium does outscore France by at least 34 points. And then Belgium beat Denmark at least 92-86. I think there's an outside shot that also Sweden win as well. If they get a 120 in theirs, they end up at 475.
We are hearing from our stats man that he believes
specific.
Sweden's odds are so wild and
but
so
not
wide
impossible
that if it happens, we throw a pizza party, just like it was the olden times.
Yeah.
Awesome, really, really cool, great to see. What spectacular stats, Rob?
Exactly. Right, okay, so we're going to jump to table 6, and this is Sven with his KO, Barek Urba, so Karajan Overlords 4, and he's just finished his turn representing Team Denmark, and now Julian is going to run his Zinch Force. Yeah. They're going to run his Zinch Force into this brightly coloured pink KO, kind of perfect. It's Pride Month.
Gorgeous.
That's good.
That's it.
You love to see it.
Pride of the KO fleet.
We're Pride of the KO fleet, exactly. And so we saw those Untamed Beasts move up in the first turn. turn to screen out. I don't think the telestrate is working. Sorry, gang. But there was to the top left, to the kind of middle left and the middle right, pushing out from the Tzeentch army. There was some screens. And then they've just been shot off the board now.
Which I think only one of them looks like it's been taken out, Rob. I have a feeling that this KO, usually KO love a big first turn hit. They want to come out, they want to slap hard, and they want to do it with a really, really strong assault. However, what we've seen instead is that the KO have played a little bit more defensively. They're a little bit more timid, a little bit shy. They're playing coy with this battle, only taking off one of those screens just to make sure nothing gets into combat, but not wanting to overcommit to potentially then have the big clapback coming from them. I think this is a really exciting match for me because usually we've seen KO games go very not one-sided, but very one-dimensional way. And this is showing a new, more thoughtful and measured approach, which I absolutely love. I think it's great.
Yeah, me too.
So, the real question is going to be, when this priority comes, which player is going to try to send it first and furthest? How deep they're going to go?
Oh, okay. Let's just go ahead in the game here. I think that it's go for it. It's super difficult for Julian to push out into this KO army. He's been able to hold off on the first turn with those Untamed Beasts, but as he moves into the mid board, I think that becomes more of an issue. Jacob is on an MVP Golden Boot Award for Best Player through the teams. There will be something that we allocate or we work out from the tSports network. It's something we're going to go home and do, me and the crew. Ziggy's here with us live, so Ziggy and Rob from the Stats Center, and we're going to go and work that out, which would be super fun. And we're going to definitely do a stats decompression stream as well, where we do all of that info, so I think that would be really fun to talk about. But for now, not possible.
At the moment, we are hearing through the chat Ziggy thanking us because, Rob, Ziggy loves stats. So when you feed the Zig Beast those numerical digits of morsels of delicious, delectable 1s to 9s, he absolutely loves it.
He does. Right, okay. So I think Sven's list has 2 auto-binds. It does. Okay, so Barik Urbaz, I think the KO are in a stronger position here. Because, as we know, normally Tzeentch works on an 18-inch kill box. That has to be the kind of normal way that this works. But one of those units that's going to be really key is this unit of 6 Enlightened that are in the list. They're more mobile, they'll do more damage, and they definitely add an additional element to the Tzeentch army you sometimes see an Incarnate do instead. So you've got an interesting spot both ways, not sure right now. Oh, boy, this is going to be very tense.
It's really tense. Okay,
Table 7.
Table 7.
Casper with representing Team Denmark at the top with his Jaws of Mork. He is at the top of the board now. We can see how he's finally deployed, and he has been able to pin all of his units in at the back, so keep him safe, and then he's got to protect himself from Marathi at the bottom right-hand corner.
So we saw last game, he'll be keen to get chomping this one because last game he was really held out. He was kind of tied up with a lot of zombies and a lot of undead. And then he really struggled to get the points because he was playing twists and turns and the battle plan beat him. The battle plan won by turning off all the objectives he needed to score. So he's going to be hungry for a bit of revenge and to against the board, against the player, and against the world.
We're going to take you through these games very quickly again, and then we'll tell you exactly what's happened. We're into turn 2 on table 1. Mouth with his Slaanesh Pretenders force, which you can see moved into the middle, against represented Denmark, against Sevastos. Fyreslayers army for Team Belgium at the bottom of the board. That's what we're seeing right now. Over on table 2, we've got Morton with his Knights to the Empty Throne against David with his Barak Nar. That's a Karajan Overlords army, which most of it's on the right-hand side and on the left, and then the Slaves of Darkness in the middle, and that... that's fine. I'll sort it out. And then that is also going into priority into turn 2, Dan.
Wow,
Take us through. And that is Morton and David. Table 3?
All right, table 3, we are looking at Lumineth versus Beasts. We obviously saw a big push from the Lumineth here and along this line. They were clearly just trying to screen. That was their first turn. They were trying to screen, make sure there was nothing here. First turn for Beasts, usually what we see is a very tentative, very measured play. But what we've actually had instead is a really aggressive push. We've seen the Bulgors go down in the top. We've seen Bulgors go down in the bottom. And we've seen Be'lakor push forward as well. So he's clearly, this is again, second time we've seen this from him. He's absolutely come and taken a big shot at the king turn 1, which he's got Bulgors to the left of me, Bulgors to the right, and here are these little Lumineth stuck in the middle with Doom. Who I think are about to get their heads chopped off in a very ferocious fashion. Excited to see it, but really, really cool when we see Beast of Chaos deploying turn 1. Not playing the safe game, not hiding away till turn 2, which again, I think a lot of teams always plan to bring their beasts on turn 2. They weren't open to the opportunity to really take advantage of being left open turn 1 and taking it. We're going to see
Do you know why they're able to do it?
Why?
Best unit in the game.
Be'lakor. Beast without Be'lakor, you are going to be asking yourself...
That's what they call it. They call it an Airbnb. Yeah? That's what they do. They call it an Airbnb. Right, okay, the air is the whoosh that leaves your breath as you get battered on the tabletop. That's what it is, right?
It's because he flies, it's because he's got wings. He's the air, and then it's the Bulgor and Bulgor.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Right, so that's table 3. Table 4, we have a brilliant Sylvaneth mirror match, both lists featuring Alariel. We do know that Christopher's got the first turn. He's fighting against Quentin. They're playing... so we're just seeing a redeploy done now, but that's Christopher's on the first turn, so Denmark going first. Table 5, we've got Rune on the bottom left-hand corner against Nicholas on the top with his all herd. So Rune representing Team Denmark, obviously. Both these two teams in with a chance of becoming the World Team Champions. Deployed at the bottom, Avalanor in the middle, Teclis in the middle, some Wardens there, and the Light of Altharion, if you can goddamn believe it, Dan.
Insane. Almost as insane as Gotrek fighting alongside Alariel, but I'll forgive it because it lets me see the Ginger Ninja.
Exactly. And then Julien Renner versus Sven. I feel I did quite well.
Yeah, you nailed it. That sounded very cultural.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Team Belgium versus Team Denmark. They've got the Barak Urbaz, so the Karajan Overlords in the top over here, and they are battling out against the Tzeentch Force, which did screen early to try to push the KO army out. We're going to find out right now what phase of the turn we are in, because I think we might be in the priority.
Rob, quickly to look back at it, we saw this start with 2 screens here and here. We saw the Barak Urbaz push up here and here. They then dropped off and shot out the first screen. Looks like they've damaged the second screen, forcing this Tzeentch list to replace those screens. And the thing that's going to happen is it's a question of attrition. How long can they keep replacing those screens? Because as soon as this KO list sees a gap, they're going to send it straight through in there like swimwear, gun down some of these key pieces, and then they'll cripple the army. So once those screens go, so too does Tzeentch's opportunity in this match.
Yeah, this is honestly a really tough match, and we have just heard that Sven, representing Team Denmark, has just won the priority into turn 2. So he's got loads of opportunity here to add some more. Don't forget, you've got this unit of Enlightened. They're one of the major threats that Sven is going to worry about hitting his unit, so he's going to be conscious of that. They are in that overgrown terrain, though, so it's unlikely that they can be shot at because of how it blocks in, but how it blocks line of sight. But I still think this is a really tough match for Julian.
It is, because, again, he can give this turn away probably quite comfortably. The threat, I guess, is these Enlightened coming across and attacking his boat, which is a really important piece for him with a lot of his units inside, and then all putting his opponent on for the double.
They are Enlightened on disc for everyone at home, on discuses. And then we've got 2 more battle plans. We've got 2 more games on the same battle plan. This is the Prize of Galay, probably the most played battle plan in this GHB.
Absolutely.
And we've got Kasper Agdal representing Team Denmark with Jaws of Mork on the bottom right-hand side. And then you've got Spiros representing... it says Calibron.
Yes, it is. Calibron.
So he's on the bottom right-hand side, sorry. And the Jaws of Mork are at the top.
So we've got here, look, we've got Marathi, the big snake herself. We have this big unit pucked away in the corner, trying to stay safe, puckered, some might say, to keep away from this huge, menacing squig herd here that are absolutely... Now, remember, this is turn 1. There is only one active objective, and given that it's the only one with models on, I'm assuming it's the far right there. So no one really wants to commit early on this battle plan. You either want to send it and trap your opponent in their deployment zone, but if you can't do that, you want to stay safe, and against the sheer output of all of these squigs, really not worth risking it. Now,
which objective became active? Because the Gits get the choice. I think, I don't know. I know the Marathi and the Bow Snakes on the bottom right-hand side must have got the choice.
I think they activated the right one.
No, because it would be, if they've taken the first turn, then the Gits have got the choice to go first. Oh, this is the bottom of turn 1.
So what I think we've seen here is nobody wanting to commit. The Marathi and the Bow Snakes gave the turn away. Gits
turned on the center of right-hand objective.
Right-hand objective in front of them. Gits didn't want to commit much, just dipped a toe on here to score the objective, get the points.
Love that.
They've been slapped back, and now we're going to be going into priority into turn 2. Big. Now, let's remember, this Gits list, unless I miss my guess, Rob, doesn't feature Grincrack the Great, another one. And we saw that hurt Ronya in the last game because that fight on death has become such a key part of Squig armies, allowing them to tank the damage from combat and then still go into it. So a lot to play for here, but obviously it doesn't heat up until we find out which of these objectives turn on next. So a massive priority
and look
roll.
at the players. Look at that.
Yeah, look at them.
Team Denmark, very relaxed, just waiting for Belgium. Belgium got probably one of the best social media presences professionally that I've seen online. Lots of photos introducing their team, being very adult about it. You love to see it.
I love their logo as well, Rob. I think it's spectacular.
Yeah, the robot.
It looks like a Venetian mask of some description. I think it's sexy, but it's also inscrutable. Yeah. I know what it is and I don't know what it is.
Okay, so as you can see, Casper just taking all of this information in right now and just watching this game happen. You love to see it. Right, okay. And then finally, table 8. Thank you, John. Great shots, by the way. Alexander with his Gilded Summoner Tzeentch Force in the top center part of the board.
Yep.
And then in the bottom, Valentin with his Godseeker's Depravity. Now, Slaanesh Force. Now, the depravity that you're going to be able to generate from Alexander is pretty prodigious.
Yeah.
And so what he's going to look to do is kill one of those units of pink horrors so that he can get as many depravity points as possible, which is what the Slaanesh get if they do damage in close combat with a certain unit. And then they're looking to just get loads of points because they buff the army up and make them much more survivable, which is, I think, very good. So we'll see if he does go in for that long bomb charge. It's going to be that unit of Slickblade Seekers that does the work. And as you can see, Alexander with his first turn has already been able to summon an additional Lord of Change, right? An additional Lord of Change. Can you get a Cruel Boy update? I'm pretty certain both those two teams are on the bottom tables.
Okay, so we are hearing that back on table 7, Gits won the priority and have given it away to the Daughters of Cain.
Yeah, of course they have.
Because what we're going to see now is an objective active here and an objective active underneath.
No, it'll be this objective that they make active.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, well, so this one's already active, right?
Yeah.
So wait, so who won it? Gits won it?
Gits won it.
Right, yeah, so you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Sorry. They gave it away, but, I mean, number one, it's a double win in this situation.
For sure.
Not only do they get to keep their home objective and just score points, more importantly, the Bow Snakes, who've got a 24-inch range, so probably up to about here, who get to shoot in the hero phase and then move and shoot in the shooting phase, are already far enough away that you won't be able to take any damage.
Yeah.
So then what can happen is the Gits can just be like, cool, you can do no damage again, full send.
Also, what they're saying is, do you want to let me just keep scoring points? Because if you want to take this, you got to come close to me. And guess what I have? Big angry mouths full of chompy teeth, and I just want to get them on those ranged units.
Wow, absolutely amazing. This is going to be really fun. A really, really lucky roll for Casper there.
Yeah.
Because you just always want the prior.
Yeah, to give it away.
No, this battle plan, more than any other battle plan, you want to go second.
Absolutely.
Right, which is like, they both rolled a 2 as well. That's
big oof.
Winning the priority on a double 1, though, is the future.
That is
That's the right way to do it. But double 2 will do.
Double two. Yeah, 2 will do, 1 for fun.
Yeah, so the Gits army can go very fast. If it wants to, it can move over. It can get into this combat, do all this damage if it wants to. It might, we'll see. Scragrat's obviously there. It wants to draw a 24-inch line to Marathi, start doing those chip damage.
Yeah, chip mortal wounds.
Marathi might not die as time goes on, but it's a very good match. Right, so table 1. We are into Slaanesh's second turn.
Wow,
So
okay.
they got the second turn. And the important thing that they've done, so the first turn taken by the Fyreslayers, they dropped over a couple of units down here. Most importantly, a Galician champion to do 2 battle tactics and a unit of 10 Fyreslayers. And I think they also dropped a unit down here.
They did.
And then the unit of Slickblade Seekers on the left and on the right, Dan, they've cleared those objectives,
Yeah.
and now I think we're just going to see the net, the noose.
Yeah, this Fyreslayers army, look, they clearly didn't want to get hit early, so they've deployed in a strong bunker at the back. It is a strong, durable dwarven bunker, but the issue is they've given up all of the objective scoring. Now remember, turns 1, 2, or 3, you score bonus victory points for controlling these side objectives with a Galician champion, which is exactly what we're going to see come across there most likely from the Seraphon, from the Slaanesh list. And meanwhile, they're going to place this unit, most likely will come here and screen. We'll see another unit come and screen here, and one come and screen on the side. They'll throw those screens around, possibly with some defense in depth, and say to the Fyreslayers, you're not scoring points until turn 4.
Yeah, I think the smart play is to just block them in now.
Yeah.
So they're going to do it as little as possible and not push it out. The problem is, though, is he might want to actually engage and try to whittle it down as much as possible. This is Mouth, defeater of Ronya.
Defeater of Ronya.
Slayer of Ronya. So Sylvestas is going to be like, wow, you does that make him the Night Queen? Yes.
No, it makes him the Day King. We've got a Night Queen and a Day King.
Listen, Mouth, you look like a beauty, but you don't look like you've seen the day much.
No, that's true. That's true.
Okay, so he's going to try. The Celestial Force is just going to try and pin the lads in at the back. He'll probably do it one at a time, but he's probably going to maybe get whittled down over time. I don't know.
Yeah.
He also wants a depravity, don't forget, Dan.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
He's also going to want, I don't know if we can get a depravity update from Table 1, but he's going to want to get as much depravity as he can in his opponent. The Northern Usurper.
Ibit is suggesting Slayer of Ronya, enemy of the people, and
Great name.
I have to agree. I think, look, the Fyreslayers deployed very, very defensively, didn't come very far forward because they were worried about the counter turn, about the double turn.
So it turns out he might not be that bothered about depravity, though, Dan, because we've heard already he generated 28 depravity.
Ooh, that means he's at -1 to hit.
And any 6s to hit are going to do mortal wounds.
He hasn't hit yet the 5-up ward.
No, so that's only like 6 more.
Yeah, but it does mean that the Fyreslayers probably want to get in there and put some damage on them before they start to become super durable.
Yeah.
I think he really needs to push forward with the Fyreslayers. Looking at the positioning of the terrain, I think he'd be best bet to try and get something on this side objective, but Fyreslayers on foot, Rob, is going to blow your mind. Not Swift.
I mean, you do have the opportunity to strike a rune once per battle.
That's true.
To go faster as well.
Yep.
And so you do have that opportunity to push out aggressively for a turn. The problem for the Fyreslayers army as well is that, quite far, very far, and then the ones on the side disappear.
Yeah, by the time they get there, the best they'd have is score them for a turn.
Jumping over to Table 2, we have Morton with his Knights of the Empty Throne Slave to Darkness list, representing Team Denmark, against David with his Barracknar Carriage Overlords for Team Belgium. And we have a massive charge happening in the bottom left-hand corner. Yeah, it's absolutely big. So Knights of the Empty Throne can run and charge, and we have a unit of, it looks like Chaos Knights. I'm going to get the double check. It might be the Varangard.
I think that's Varangard, Rob.
Varangard.
That looks
so
like
they've
Varangard.
Charged in, and they have hit that unit of Thunderers. So it's Varangard. So they hit the unit of Thunderers, and they've hit the Ironclad. They will get the ability to strike twice.
Yes.
And they're also the Mark of Khorne, so they're going to get +1 attack on the charge. Once per battle, they can fight twice. Now, Dan, this is quite interesting because I've seen this play before. If this unit doesn't die, they're going to be able to bridge out and 4-up rally in the future. They're pretty survivable as well. They start on, and is there any more?
2 wounds and a 4-up save, I believe. So the Rend is going to hurt.
This is where our 10 Thunderers are on the right-hand side. But shutting down the 15 and the Ironclad on this side, I still think that that's a pretty tall order for the Varangard. I'm not sure they're going to completely take them off, but Morton's going to be really happy that he's got involved in that fight.
Yep.
You could even, looking at the board state, because they're quite far away from this.
Yeah.
And don't forget, this objective is going to be removed in turn 4. It could just be like, sure, I'm going to take out your utility. I suppose there's the under spell. That's always going to get him out of jam. Oh, I wonder what that charge roll was, because that must have been
Huge.
far. Because the Slaves of Darkness were deployed at the top of the board, and then they're down here now.
I'm trying to work out where I see... oh, yeah, here it is. So the Soul Screen Bridge, the openings are there, which is not far, to be honest. Usually we see the Soul Screen Bridge used for a lot of aggressive utility to push and then project power from that shooting. Instead, only going from here to here, taking them from a corner to their home objective... I think what we've seen here is that just the positioning and the pace of the Knights of the Empty Throne has kind of pushed them there.
Okay, so we have heard that the Thunderers can get into the boat and then use the boat to go through the bridge.
Absurd.
If that makes sense.
Ridiculous.
And then everything can get out of the boat.
Sure. So instead of, which is, again, great pressure from the Knights of the Empty Throne, instead of him being able to use the Soul Screen Bridge as an aggressive piece to capture objectives, to put pressure on or to extend his shooting range, it's going to be used as an escape mechanism to save whatever survives this absolute bollocking. Remember, that unit has Fell Spears, so they've got increase their rend on the charge, meaning they're going to be punching through a lot of that armor.
Pretty amazing. You love to see it, which is really good. Like a fun little match here. I think being able to get this Varangard in is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And Morton's going to be happy. David's going to be sweating. We'll see how this match ends up. Over on table 3, we've been able to drop our Dan.
What?
The Bulgor are in. So this is still the first turn for Casper and his all-heard Beast of Chaos. He's up against Thibaut, who's deployed in the top right-hand corner with his Helon army. And you can see that the Bulgor have landed. 6 dropped at the top and then charged in into that back line. And that's a shot that John's got for us there into that unit of 10 Sentinels. So goodbye.
They will not be happy about that.
Goodbye, 10 Sentinels.
They're not happy, Rob, but I just want to be absolutely clear. I am stoked. The more elf scalps I see taken off, smash their bows, crash their ears, and then just throw them in the bin.
We'll talk about this. We have had a great question in the chat as well. Over on the right-hand side, though, we had another unit of 6 Bulgor, and it looks like to me, Dan, they've hit a unit of 20 Sentinels.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we've got any standard shoot to happen.
No, my guess is that was in the charge phase. Almost certainly. Remember, Rob, we've seen it, such a clutch move multiple times. Here, we can see we've got this big unit of Bulgor, but then hidden in the back, and he almost certainly would have been within 12 inches at the time, is a Doom Bull. Now, the Doom Bull has an ability that lets a unit charge in the combat phase.
Now, you can't re-roll it in the charge phase.
You can't, unless you've got a Triumph, which I believe he does, meaning that he's almost certainly sent them in the combat phase, meaning that all of these Sentinels, there is absolutely no Unleash Hell, no stand and shoot, and these Bulgors will chop them to pieces.
Okay, so there are 5 okay, so there's a little 5-man unit here that was charged, and then they got destroyed by the impact hits from the Bulgor. You basically roll 9 dice and your 2-ups will do more wound.
Insane.
Killed them, and then charged again into that unit, so into the Luma. So Thibaut is going to be in a tough spot here.
Yeah, really
because he's
big.
about to lose potentially 20 Sentinels, 10 Sentinels. Don't forget there's no Teclis in this list.
Yeah.
So this is a huge portion. This is a big bit. And then look at Bellicor. Bellicor has got his eye right on the other unit of 20 Sentinels. And they only need to pass 1 test. It's not like a combat unit where you have to roll to move, roll to charge, roll to fight. Yeah. They've only got a roll to shoot.
But it means, Rob, that it's all down to 1 3-up for them. Rather than move, charge, combat, at least you can get some board position. This unit wants to back off and shoot, and then might not be able to.
Yeah, it looks like Casper's hit rolls against the Shining Company were not good, is what we've just heard.
But the other thing here, we've got a 3-inch mark keeping them out. Do you think Robbie's going to pile in and pull both these units in to keep them tagged in combat?
I'm not sure at the moment. Okay, so it looks like only 4 were killed from the attacks, which is really low. Don't forget, he hasn't got a lot of models.
No.
So all the attacks, only 3 5s were rolled.
Wow.
So it's quite a lot of attacks, but it's not loads of bodies, which is kind of the important part. And so he hasn't been able to get all of that damage in. So actually, if I was Thibaut, I'd feel like I got away with that quite nicely. Also, don't forget they're in Shining Company, so then they're naturally -1 to hit. Apparently, Thibaut did a fist pump when he rolled it. He was super happy about that. He is going to be happy because you've got to remember, not only is Denmark or Belgium trying to win each game.
Yeah.
They're trying to win the massive points.
Ebert suggesting in the comments that Unleash Hell is only allowed during the charge phase because the wording is after a charge. However, specifically, it says that command ability is only usable in the charge phase. So that's the difference there. The wording in the rule, it's where you can use the entire command ability is why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Unleash Hell is only in the charge phase. Exactly. And this happens in the start of the combat. It happens at the start of the combat phase. Okay, so then we're going to see. We saw some wind charges taken off as well. We lost a couple of wind charges. I mean, look, the thing about the Beast of Chaos Army, it's very dynamic, but it puts all of its eggs in a basket, and it says, "There you go."
Yeah, and you know what? If you can make an omelette out of those eggs, you're going to have a delicious game against the beasts. But if you are egg toast intolerant, they're going to mess you up.
Exactly. Right, so we spent a while on this. It does look like the combat has failed a bit for Casper, but there is a priority roll coming up. This is the bottom of
and
turn
he's
1.
Still going to be within 3 here to keep this unit tagged. He'll Bellacore this unit, so on a 3-up, no shots. If this 3 is going to be really important, if this Bellacoring doesn't work here, really troublesome.
He also now he did put a cockatrice on the objective, but he didn't get into the unit of Fast Riders here. There's still a wind charger. Here, and it does look like we did manage to get a unit of either Ungor or Ungor Raiders into combat with these Canary, and we've got another unit on the objective. So bottom right definitely going to Denmark, middle to Belgium, and then top to Belgium at the minute, but obviously lots to play for. But some of those key pieces, not the key piece, the whole show has arrived in town in the Bulgor, and it's whether or not we've still got the unit at the top to fight, and then we're going to jump over to the next table in but a moment. I just want to see what happens with this unit of Sentinels.
I want to see him taken off, Rob. I want to see him go. Take the Sentinels, throw them in the bin. Actually, it'll be lovely. It'll be satisfying. It's going to fill me with joy,
and it will be a critical priority role.
Absolutely, because. Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go for it.
I was going to say, once these are cleared, if the priority does go to the Beasts of Chaos, their ability to come into this backfield is going to be massive, put pressure on both these units. If it goes the other way, the big question that Theobald is going to have to answer is how he deals with them. Does he commit all of his forces here to clear out this threat? Does he split using them to try and counter, moving this unit up to counter this unit here? It's going to be a tough call for him.
It's going to be really tough. Thibaut also really wants it because he wants to make the score more even. He wants to change the board pressure. And again, each player wants massive points on the board at the moment. No one wants... Okay, so the Bulgor only killed 6 at the top left-hand corner. Yet again, 0 6s on the attacks, which all do mortal wounds.
However, we might see a battle shock up there if he doesn't have a command point hidden away for the inspiring presence between the impact hits and the combat. The other thing to remember here as well, great shot, thank you, Scrivo. The other thing to remember here as well is that this is the final round. Now, in previous rounds, you might have team members who are happy to play for kind of low stakes or like for low losses to keep the points low. But in this final round, teams know they need maximum points to get as high up the ladder as they can. So where previously you might have had rounds where teams were a little bit shy, a little bit coy, and maybe not sending it fully to go play big, go hard, or go home, now we will absolutely see some more of those big plays because teams would risk a big loss to possibly get a big 20-0 result.
Yeah, it's very, very close. Right, let's jump to table 4.
Let's go have a look at some trees.
Let's look at some Sylvaneth, and this is going to be it's the bottom of round 1, and Christopher has already had his first turn, scored big on 7 points. Now Quentin has got to unpack his army.
Bring it, Quentin.
Come on, Quentin
I
Dubois.
believe in you.
And this is honestly very, very interesting. So let's have a look. We've got the Tree Lord. Scriver, if you just hold into the middle board, just where you're at's really nice. Just stay there for a moment. So look, where you were was great. So you have this unit of Dryads holding this objective here, battling out, and that definitely belongs to Christopher.
Yeah.
Hilariel behind, the Tree Lord Ancient, the Warsong Revenant, and also Durthu, all on that front line. We've also got this unit of Dryads in the front as well.
Yep.
So I would say that Christopher has fully committed. He said, look, I'm going to be on all of the objectives. He's squeaked out here. Said he's been here. He's closed down the objective. He's like, I don't mind you leaving your territory.
Yeah.
I don't mind you coming out here. because I'm prepped for that.
Yeah.
I'm ready, like, come after me. And he set it up in such a way where he's, I think, body blocked with this piece of terrain and this unit against Alarielle. Also done the same with Durthu.
Yep.
He's protected Durthu down the bottom here. So all he's doing is saying you can have a Tree Lord Ancient, you can have some Dryads, but then I'm within striking distance with my Alarielle.
Yeah.
My Durthu has got a shot into your trees as well.
Yeah.
And so you now, like, you know where I am.
Yep.
But now I'm threatening your territory.
Yeah, I think the big move here is going to be for him to be able to put something up here next to these trees to stop the ability to move through them. So if he can get one of the... It looks like he's got a unit of Dryads here in the front of... so if he moves these up, maybe he doesn't even commit them to combat, just uses it to shut down the teleportation through that tree, then pushes up against this unit here. And I reckon we can also see right here, I think a big move would be Gotrek into this screening unit. Only because Gotrek being right here, staring down Alarielle, is going to force Alarielle to commit away from him because he would absolutely chop her up in a round of combat.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be an incredibly fun game.
Yeah.
But one of those really dynamic games that really suffers when you're covering 8 games at once.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's going to be very niche moments here.
And again, Quentin and Christopher really showcasing why Sylvaneth should be at the top tables, but requires absolutely massive skill expression.
Incredible, yeah.
And it's interesting that a lot of teams didn't bring it, but the teams that did bring it are doing very, very well.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that you see a lot of Sylvaneth go down because they are very widely played. A lot of people like them, like the vibe, like the style, but they aren't as efficient with the army. Then when you see a player like this, the list doesn't seem very heavy, very light on bodies, very reliant on those heroes, meaning once you lose pieces, you struggle incredibly and very, very fast. So I think, like you say, incredible skill expression. Maybe teams just didn't have the players with the skill to do it, or maybe they didn't believe that they could take it into other matches.
Yeah, now Quentin also has got like a little sneaky trick in his pocket, and it's a teeny angry dwarf called Gotrek Grunson.
The ninja.
Grunson. And he is deployed, he's somewhere on the board. We'll find out exactly where he is. John, I don't know if you've scoped eyes.
He's right here, Rob. I can see that bright orange mohawk filling me with joy. There it is. Thank you, Scrivo.
Okay, so he's like charge the castle. Yep. He's defending Alarielle.
Yeah, so I actually spoke to Quinton during round 1 of this event, and he's been keeping me updated on Gotrek's exploits. And every time he comes up to me with this big grin on his face, he's like, Gotrek just got into 40 bloody sentinels, and I'm like, yes, he did. So this Gotrek has taken some scalps this event. I'm just making eye contact with a few wonderful people around the room and getting a soft head shake.
Actually, we just got Zach Kennedy here, who we are only an hour into the round, who's already picked up a big 20-0 in one of his games.
Yeah, and also scalped the team to take their shirt as well.
Zach's first cap at an international event. Here he is. You can all see him right here. Your first ever international event. You've got any thoughts about it, real quick?
No, it's a ton of fun. It's great meeting all these teams over here. The guys in Denmark, they deserve to win this event. They're amazing.
Wow. Okay, so anti-Belgium then.
Oh, I love Belgium. I haven't met them, actually. So that's part of it. I'm sure they're great, too.
Also, I hear wonderful things about Harambe's heroes, RIP. Obviously, the gorilla of, maybe not with us physically, but always in our hearts.
Rip the homie.
How do you feel about USA this year?
Pretty good team. It was a lot of fun. There's a couple guys we wish we could have brought that couldn't make it.
Yep.
But I feel like this is probably the best team USA's fielded.
Yeah, and from where I'm sitting, pretty good team is underselling it massively.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations on the 20-0.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
What a superstar. What a superstar. Okay, right. So we're going to move on to the next table.
Yep.
Table 5, we're in the bottom of turn 2.
Which means the beasts are loose, Rob.
It does mean the beasts are loose, and they are going in. So, Rune.
Table 5. Now, Gotrek said, no Trek, you shall not move on from my table until I'm finished with you. So we did have to just give him a small sacrifice of beer. He has allowed us to move on now, and we are on this table 5. Now, the Beasts of Chaos, turn 2, we will find out from the table who won priority into this turn. But we've seen, look at this big beefcake here. We've got all of these beasts. They've won priority. They gave it to the Lumineth, which is exactly what they want. And they have since just been absolutely pounding. So it looks like we've got beasts here, and they are going ballistic.
They're going all the way in.
Yeah,
down.
he's forced, by the looks of things, he's forced Rune to go back into his home. He said, you stuck your head out and now you are in my town. So we've got that big beefy Bulgor unit right there.
This is amazing, but this is very much like where we saw Archeon got sent before. And don't forget, inside there, not only, this is a Geometrica force as well, not only is that big Alarith mountain, thank you. Oh, John's getting the shot. When the focus sorts it, this is going to be wild. The light, in a moment.
Just like an elf to be fickle and blurry. That's actually how he painted the model.
There you go, that guy there, that is, I'm pretty certain that's our Light of Altharion.
Oh.
That's our Light of Altharion.
Turn it off, Rob.
Yeah, so he's a really great duelist character. Actually, one of the few. It's actually quite fun that down across two of the armies that we see across this match, we have got two different dedicated duelist characters. Specifically, the Light of Altharion for Lumineth Realmlords and Gotrek for the other army.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this does look super rough for Rune. It's actually one of the advantages. That's the Cathalar, sorry, that we're looking at. That's one of the advantages of the Beasts of Chaos, is they have that aggressive turn one if they want to take it, which I think is really, really good. And he has decided to go all the way in.
Yeah,
Will it pay off, though? Because he's only hitting the screen as I see it at the minute.
Yep, and he's hitting the screen. He's going to be at -1 to hit because of Shining Company. So he's looking for 5s and 6s, and obviously the damage on the impact hits. So we've had a curse thrown out at the Cathalar, which has only done 1 wound, which is a shame because Dead Elves are fantastic and I'd love to see more of them. We've got Be'lakor down here on the bottom, and looks like we've got the beasts pushing in as well.
Yeah, so we've got a Be'lakor over on the left-hand side as well. That Be'lakor is going to be really useful because it's probably, in this situation, I think I'd probably shut down, oh no, Ken. I'll shut down the Cow Mountain on the bottom left-hand side, and I won't shut down anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you take out that kind of linchpin, that absolute reliable corner of the army, and you very, very quickly take away its ability to kind of, defend the rest of the units around it.
Yeah. Technically, we made dumb next turn. I agree.
Yep.
Using the Be'lakor ability, but it could use it on the Alarith Stone Mountain as well, which I think is really fun.
Now remember,
but Beasts of Chaos could possibly get the priority roll again because we're about to go into priority into turn 2.
The issue is going to be getting through them without with the no rend. That's going to be really tough because they do have paired blades, and we are into Geometrica, not Helon, meaning they will be ignoring rend.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, you can't shut down the mountain. I could try my hardest.
You can't shut it down, but you can cover it in Bulgor.
Yeah, so the turn 3 priority has just been rolled, if I am correct. I'm just waiting to see. Okay, no, you broke up loads there, bud. It's the bottom of turn 2, so as I said, it could be the priority into turn 3, so you could get the Beast of Chaos double turn.
Rob, I think that Suki Sonari Cathalar is about to have its head ripped clean off because there is a Bulgor charge that looks like it's made contact, but remember what they can also do in the charge phase.
What?
They can also charge in the combat phase.
The double charge actually from the Bulgor is actually super powerful. Like it's an ogre and then it's an ogre charge again. So you're clearing out the right units. So the Cathalar's done a good job of holding that unit back. Rune using the Ruin to block that. Thanks, John. Block that bit from the second Bulgor charge. So you are going to get like an impact hit onto. You should get some impact hits on there, and we don't know if it's died.
Rob, it almost looks like if you can see up here next to the Mountain Cow that we've had the spell portal summoned to block access. What a cowardly elf tactic to use aggressive endless spells to try and shield and build a hovel for them to die in.
Yeah, that's really, really
cowards. Filthy cowards.
Yeah, so someone's asked how I feel about the meta at the event right now. Oh, Rune doing a classic. This is Rune level.
This is him.
This is him. He gets inside the models.
Rob, you can't strike the runes from above. You got to get to anvil level if you're going to hammer away.
Yeah. So, a question we've been asking in the chat is, how do I feel about the level at the event? So it has obviously, I think, across the board increased. The differences between all the teams, there are very few teams getting absolutely trashed. It's very few people's first event, and those people whose first event it is, for example, Canada, have expressed to me they felt like speak of the devil. I was speaking to a fine Canadian during lunch, and he was saying to me that he feels that the level he learned more in the past 3 days than they would have learned in 3 years.
Yeah.
So just lots of teams experiencing stuff, training each other, teaching each other a bunch of things.
Yeah.
There's lots of mercs jumping between teams as well.
Yeah.
Bringing that experience across, which I think is interesting. So yeah, it's definitely. I mean, also the actual organisers have been very astute with giving information out.
Yep.
They've been very organised. It's been very clear. So it's been very easy for the teams to organise themselves really well. But yeah, I would say that this event itself, the AOS World Team Championships, is going to go from strength to strength. I feel the communities are getting more tight-knit.
Yep.
The camaraderie is getting more tight-knit as well. And I think we're seeing a better and better event as time goes on.
And Rob, do you know what I think is going to be a wake-up call for a lot of teams going into next year as well? Is that a lot of those teams that we're seeing maybe underperform as what we'd expect them to do. It's because we see the identical lists, all the same lists, and then we see these top tables, these teams that are performing incredibly well. They have that unique flair. So I think the problem is, if you've got teams that are all taking the cookie-cutter best of the best lists that don't have that minor tweaks that take them above and beyond.
I'd say that might be like correlation, not causation, though.
Yeah,
like that might just be like, that's a really fun storyline we get to pick out from these top tables, but not necessarily certain that's the one.
Yeah.
But I would say that does what the differential in those lists may indicate that they've either thought about it more, or they're just more practiced with those elements.
Right.
And we'll see. But the Light of Altharian in this is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the table 6 we are going into. You broke up again there, please, Charlie. We got Julien representing Team Belgium with his Host Arcanum, Disciples of Tzeentch, and then he has got the second turn now against Sven with his Barak Urbaz Karajan Overlords, and the Karajan Overlords have had 2 turns, so we're in the bottom of turn 2, and Julien is going to get the turn here with his Host Arcanum, and he is struggling.
Yeah, this is not
a lot of the
place.
Screens have gone, as you can see here. A lot of these key pieces have gone. Oh wow! But the Prime, the Celestin Prime, landed. This is again, just like Dan, you were saying. Again, I'm not willing to definitely agree with correlation, not causation. But the Prime in the KO is a very unique list. Being played by Sven and Team Denmark. And they charged into this unit of Enlightened. Again, those Enlightened not seeing a lot of play outside of Belgium. And they died. It died in this fight in the middle here. Okay. So it's working just in the wrong place.
Yes,
I can fix that.
We can draw. At the moment, we're drawing pictures, but they are coming slightly off-center.
So I'll fix that, no problem.
However,
I thought it wasn't working.
We'll have that in just a moment. Now, look, when we do come in, that Celestin Prime has swung and roundabouted in popularity, but absolutely provides this army what it needs, which is a super strong hammer unit that can go in and absolutely do damage. I'd like to know if it did any damage before it went down to the Enlightened, or whether they just spiked on the damage and took it out, because really...
the Prime can whiff. The Prime can whiff really easy. The Prime can whiff really easy. No one's a fan of the Prime.
I hate the Prime.
But also, everyone loves the Prime. It's such an awkward, weird position. Italy is really good. England playing against them right now. Italy have done really well on a few rounds, which has been quite interesting. The last round really tough for England because of the battle plans.
Yes. We heard some fun stories from that.
All right, so table 7, we're just going to come back to this. So this is the Squigs who gave the turn away into turn 2. If we remember, they said, hey, we're just going to keep hold of this objective. This objective is the one we're going to active as well. We're going to give the turn away, and we're not going to take much damage. So now we're going to go into the Gloomspite Gits, turn 2.
Yeah, and Rob, look at this. The cowardly Daughters of Cain, obviously too scared to advance. We saw them deploy really tightly in the back with then their screens out the front. First turn, they gave away the turn, activated this objective, obviously, because they could bring the Squigs forward and then counter them, which is exactly what they did. Then, the next roll for priority went to the Squigs, went to Casper with his Jaws of Mork. He gave it away as well, said to the Daughters of Cain, be my guest, please. Ladies first. But while you're doing that, I'm going to activate this objective. So we have 2 scoring objectives. Daughters of Cain played their turn, moved forward, obviously, but not far enough because they're too timid to face the Jaws of Mork. Then, in their return, the Squigs moved forward, scored 2 objectives to pick up those extra points. We've just had priority rolled, and we'll hear from the table who took it. But again, massive.
Oh.
Daughters have won it and taken the turn, meaning we're going to see the Squigs.
Because they want to activate their home objective.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they've taken the turn.
They've taken the turn, which is interesting. I think maybe what we've seen is they push forward just enough to get their shooters, the bow snakes, in range.
So they can 24-inch shoot these off.
Yep.
Then they can move forward, shoot this off,
Yeah.
and then probably just full send Marathi in to start causing some havoc. Potentially.
But what it means is that if Casper wants to, he can activate this side objective here, sneak out just one of these screen units to score that objective, and mean that we're going to need to push from the Daughters of Cain around there to take it. I think, look, maybe he's worried that if he doesn't, he'll get a full send from the Gits going into him if he would have gave it away. But interesting choice by Spirios with that win.
Yeah, very interesting choice. Yeah, you like that a lot. That's quite interesting. I don't know why he's taking the turn.
Me neither. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Maybe there's a strategy we can't see with that. In the chat, if you can figure it out, tell us. In this battle plan, why would you ever take the turn if you didn't absolutely have to? Losing the ability to control where the objectives are.
Yeah, I guess, that's a good point from Balanos in the chat. I appreciate you. Wherever the objective is activated, they can drop the Canary to go and control the objective.
Yeah, but
it's not a bad point. Same with the Shadow Stalkers, so they can put them down. I just think that you need to be threatening the board, and also threatening the Squig herd, which is quite interesting. Yeah, Canary, I thought. The Canary look like they're deployed in the top right-hand corner, but they might not be.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, Rob, like, let's say that is the plan, and this objective get activated.
Good shout, Adam. Misha. So Adam is quite rightly pointing out in the chat, it is a Calibron Daughters of Cain list, so he's going to be able to teleport that unit as well, so he can teleport that unit further forward. So it might be Hero Phase, shoot these off, Calibron this unit, shoot this, full send, and then just put all the pressure in. Yeah, I think that seems like a fair shout.
So we'll see a full YOLO, a full yeeting.
A full yeeting, yeah, which I think is quite interesting. And then Table 8, we are in the bottom of turn 2. That means that the Slaanesh. The Slaanesh army, has been able to have 2 turns already, and then the Gilded Summoner Tzeentch list played by Alexander at the top is getting their second turn, and look, they are moving very aggressively with those Lords of Change into the mid-board and trying to make sure they can claim all of these objectives now. Got a Keeper of Secrets at the bottom against the Lord of Change here. We've got another Lord of Change on the side looking to go in, and we're going to see some spells cast, I think, very soon. The Keeper of Secrets, maybe not long for this world.
No, I think it's going to be mortaled off the board with a lot of spells, and if it does survive, cleaned up with an epic bird charge. We'll see some more birder this round, Rob.
Yeah, a lot of birder.
But we're seeing we're into the charge phase. Okay, so if we're into the charge phase, it'd be interesting to know how many wounds are left on that Keeper of Secrets.
So we've got a unit charging on the far left-hand side. I think this might be our unit of Zangor, but let's just double-check. It is our unit of Zangor. They're pretty good, actually, Zangor on the charge. They end up with 50 attack stat if they got a unit of paired blades. If they have a unit of paired blades. So 50 attacks is pretty decent, and that's a very lightly armored unit on the far right-hand side. There's currently no wounds on the Keeper of Secrets in the middle, but we might see the bird charge in and try to do a birder.
Well, Rob, every time we see Slickblade Seekers doing the work, it's usually because they charged in and activated first.
Oh, yeah.
But every time something gets to slap them back, they end up off the table very, very quickly. So a combat unit like Zangor going into them, they're not going to be happy about that
It's
at
quite
all.
an interesting deployment from Valentin with his Slaanesh. He deployed over on the far right-hand side, and I don't know why. There isn't anything overly scary in the army that you wouldn't just deploy into the midboard and just yeet it forward.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure. Maybe he wanted to play a wider game. Maybe he wanted to try and rotate the castle on the Tzeentch force. But I definitely wouldn't. I definitely would have put that in the middle myself. But you know, I'm not within striking distance of being the world team champions.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying that it looks very interesting from my state, because it seems then he's put him in a bad position. It has allowed Alexander to start moving into the center of the screen, taking what he wants, and then moving over. I don't know. We'll see.
I looked at this board state and I was like, it's actually very, very hard to kind of understand what's going on. It's a really, really unique position. Incredible. Very interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to jump over to table 1 right now. We have just heard that the priority has been rolled. And we've heard that the Slaanesh force for the Pretenders have taken the first turn, which is pretty good. So then they now are going to be able to do what they've been doing previously, and I think they're just going to screen out this part of the board again.
Yeah.
They've got those side objectives. They've got the side objectives here. They're fine. They're in a safe position, and they're going to keep just pushing into the Fyreslayers as we go through.
I'd be really interested to know how the Fyreslayers have been keeping pace on score in this match, because they really haven't been able to aggress at all onto these side objectives. I can only assume that they've pushed units on to clear off and have scored that way. Or maybe, actually, wait, Rob, is this Blissbarbs in the backfield? Or is this...
hold on, let's just take a moment to look at the scorecard, because we're being told in the moment. So they've both done desecrate their lands. The score is currently 9-9. Okay, so he got a Galician champion on the side, and that's how you're able to score, because don't forget the battle plan requires... The Galician champion gets you bonus points.
Yeah. Now, question in the chat, how come they can line out the horrors like that, and wouldn't they be not in coherency? 25mm bases, they are small enough that if 3 models at the end are tagged together, 1-1-1, they actually do stay in coherency.
Oh, even if you base to base them, you can still be in coherency.
Yeah.
Like 25mm base are fine. Most of your units are fine in coherency. We could draw... I'll do something.
Do a picture.
Yeah. Yeah, and also the coherency rule is bad. Yeah, we all agree.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. It's just the 6 models thing. That's a different...
6 ogre gluttons having to stand side by side and high-five each other's shoulders just to get into combat. Shut up.
Right, okay, so you can see that unit screening in the front that unit of Blissbarb archers with probably the key lynch piece of this army, that contorted epitome at the back, giving all those additional buffs. Those Fyreslayers definitely keeping at range at the moment. But don't forget, Slaanesh have got the turn on this battle plan. So Slaanesh are in the driving seat.
Yeah,
and they're going to start scoring points over the Fyreslayers, but Fyreslayers haven't been locked in, Dan.
No.
They haven't been locked in. They are free. So I do wonder if we end up seeing this unit here pushed into this unit of Fyreslayers, the archers at the back shooting into them. Maybe what we see, I'm not really sure. And we still got the massive brick of 30. But what I'd be doing is exactly what Mouth is doing. I'd be taking out the 10s, the heroes, anything that's outside that central block. I'd be like, nope, you stay home. And you come outside, you're dead. You stay home. The board is mine.
Lock your doors and windows, but I'm taking the rest of the house.
And I think we did hear that he was already on a huge amount of depravity. So I think we're about to see depravity tip over, so they have a 5-up ward and then -1 to hit. That just makes them so much more survivable. This turns the army into a Nurgle army.
Absolutely, which is a disgusting thing. I mean, it's disgusting as far as Slaanesh is concerned, but them catching a disease completely makes sense.
We're just going to jump to table 5 down really quickly. We did talk about this big drop from those Bulgor landing into the front of this this Metrica force for the Lumineth Realm Lords. And if you look, you see that there are literally no Bulgor left, which is pretty rubbish. 6 charged into the front, and they are all dead. Now, the other unit of 6 didn't do the charge into the Cathalar in the end. It didn't really work effectively, so they decided not to charge in. So So, yeah, he couldn't keep coherency. So he does get a second chance because he has just one priority into turn 3. So he gets a second chance.
Yep.
He gets a second chance to have a go at it, which is really good because if we just take a look at the board for a moment, it's so close.
It is. And Rob, the thing is, though, that when we look at this, the big issue here is that we've got this unit here, and the elves haven't really been able to come out of their house yet. We're into turn 3, unless I miss my guess, and the elves really haven't got much board presence across of it, which means that the beasts, if they can somehow keep this screen up and keep the pressure there for another turn, they're going to stop them in turn 3 scoring big on objectives.
So the problem is speed of Heesh, which is the ability to double speed move a unit. And then what you're able to do is move really, really fast with, obviously, Teclis and run him across the board.
Yeah.
But Bellacor's on this objective, so he won't outscore him, and he won't beat him in a fight. He could go up here, try and get these raiders, then on the turn have to go across.
Yeah.
There's some options there. We'd kind of abandon everyone at home. But everyone at home is safe. It's not like normally when Teclis is babysitting a bunch of archers, he's babysitting the Light of Altharion, a duelist of No, and he's also babysitting a big stone mountain who's also doing really well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he definitely, this is one of those situations where you can see Teclis being quite aggro. And if you remember from the last round, we did see Rune play with this army, and he played quite aggro as well. So, not mega aggro, right? He's still castled up. But, most Age of Sigmar games are 2 armies castle up, then you start. That's why, as Owen says quite often, it's not only about, it's about how you deploy and how you unpack, right? And you unpack with a plan. You don't just randomly move models forward. So it'd be very exciting to see if that Unit 6 Bulgor could do anything. But I'm worried whatever he decides to do with that, whatever he does hit, the slapback's going to be so hard that Rune is going to have lost all of his board presence, and then Nicholas is going to be in a good spot.
Oh, Rob, we just saw someone who's obviously very upset with a matchup against Sylvaneth because he punched a tree. That not on the boards that we're watching, just a palm tree in front of us.
It's not a real tree.
It's not a real tree, but it did get punched. It got punched, and then it looked like the tree came off better. Yeah. He was smiling, though. He was smiling. I think he was just venting frustrations in what looked like an odd dice roll. So, speaking of, Rob, should we go check out the trees?
Let's take a moment to talk about where we're at. We're in the final round of the World Team Championships, and we're in round 6 with 4 teams definitely with a shot of winning the event, but loads of teams in very close to potentially getting a podium. So they want every point, and it's got to imagine the psychological strain. You've been trying for your team as hard as possible for 5 independent rounds. You're on a 6th round. Some of those games, it must be you may have been like, hey, your job is to lose well.
Yeah.
Next game, your job is to lose well.
Yeah.
Next game, that's a gut punch.
Exhausting.
Exhausting. Yeah. That's a huge psychological strain to constantly keep doing that.
And no, you are constantly being put into really awful matchups that you are just going to be on the struggle bus the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just think there's a lot happening for these players emotionally and psychologically, and I would say that the atmosphere has been electric. It's been really excited, but now into the crunch time for this event, and loads of love to the players because they're playing really good. This is just chess of another sort.
Absolutely,
another chess of another sort, and it's wonderful to see. Let's go through these tables again. Let's see where we're at.
Yep.
Table 6. We know that the Tzeentch army got the. Table 2 next. I thought we were going to go table 6, but yeah. Oh, we got the charge. Remember, we got that big charge with Slave Starters first turn. KO dropped up into this right-hand corner to grab the objective. They're in the corner, then Slave Starters got this huge charge in the middle with the Varangard. They were going near to the Soul Screen Bridge, but also, most importantly, the Ironclad and the unit of Thunderers. And ladies and gentlemen, what are you seeing right now? That looks like there is no Ironclad on the board. There is still that unit, that is still that frigate on the right-hand side, but if I'm not mistaken, Slaves of Darkness have got the double. I'm going to get this double check right now.
It looks like that's the unit of Thunderers there, has survived, but I'm pretty sure I saw that Ironclad on the table's edge. He has been removed. So that was the Slaves' turn 2. We are now into the Carriage and Overlord's turn 2. But look at this. He's really happy with how that turn went. Very happy.
So David is he's relaxing.
Yeah.
Morton is relaxing, but yeah, someone in the chat is just saying something like someone had a beer with Morton from Team Denmark last night. This has literally been his job for the entire tournament, right? That's apparently the winner of table 2 is buying dinner.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's pretty fun. Oh no, the loser's buying dinner.
Oh right,
wow,
okay,
that's real rough.
That's real rough.
That's real rough.
Can we get a count on how many Thunderers survived from that back unit there? And
it looks like enough.
3, I'd say enough. I'd say enough to probably lift this unit here, but that's still a big trade. Trading the boat for a unit of Vanguard. He'll be really happy with that because that takes a lot of the utility out of this list.
Yeah, we're just hearing, we don't have any news, as we've told you several times, on the results from these games, from the different matches, but the other match that's very, very important right now is a match between Sweden and France. There's 2 points between them and Denmark, and it could be that even though the Danes were able to beat the French might get such a big game against the Swedish, they might get such a big result that they end up beating them on the top table.
It could be incredible.
But we decided to cover the Danes. They've got some pretty electric lists. They're up against the team Belgium, who are lovely people. Lovely to see him. Just look there. There's Yannick looking over the table. He's one of the coaches. The Danes are decked.
They are, and look, the issue is though that he needs to get down on Rune's level. He's too tall, too high at the moment. He needs to get down in here.
Also, I know some fans at home will be huge fans of the bucket hat. As an outfit, the bucket hat is a big shout. So thanks everyone for subscribing. Feynor, Mortar next, thank you. Okay, so we don't know how many. Rob, can we ask Rune what his cow is called? We won't disturb him, but I assume he does have a name for his cow.
In the grand final game, when he's under this much pressure, we will stop the game to ask him what the name of his model is. Yeah, that's what we're going to do right now. We will let you know just how hard those stacked gentlemen punch our table boss, and we'll bring you all of these very important updates shortly. All right, so look, Rob, this is still... They're still in it. They're definitely not out. We got that frigate on the side there, which is going to offer a lot of movement, a lot of utility. But, Rob, look at what's into that unit.
A unit of Vanguard.
There's a unit of Vanguard.
How's it look for Germany? Germany have got a really good match. Thanks for subscribing. They are up against... They're up against Canada, aren't they? They are. I
think so. Wait...
Okay, we are just, Germany are playing against Canada. It's too early to call. And final bit, we have just heard from the table that Rune says his cow is called Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty. Great. So I hope that helps. And then, I'm glad that we did that. That's great.
That was worth interrupting that game.
That was worth it.
Yeah, great.
So, table 3. Okay, we are going to let you know what's happened in this game. So if you remember, this is our Daughters of Cain this is a BC Chaos match. Yeah, versus Lumineth Realm Lords.
So if you remember what we had, obviously we had the Lumineth Realm Lords deploying up into this corner here, and then we saw very little except for Be'lakor down in the bottom left-hand corner. Since then, we had the big beasts turn. They dropped a big unit of moo cows right here, angry Minotaurs that charged through and got into combat in the back. We also saw another unit here come into a unit of Sentinels on the top, in the top mid. And then other than that, we've had screens put around characters, put around units, just to tag objectives and score the points. We've had Be'lakor press into the middle. I'm guessing I'm almost certain we will have seen Dark Master used on the... Oh, okay. Be'lakor used his ability on this Wind Charger unit here in the top right, which is actually a really interesting play. Rather than shutting down this big unit of shooting here, which I'm assuming he's thinking he can tag in combat, keep them tied up in that way, he's shutting down the quick unit so that it can't aggress, screen, or score objectives. That's a really cunning play. I really love that. It's also probably going to keep a lot of these units in the backfield safe, meaning that he doesn't have to worry about dropping objectives. Now, it looks like we've seen the entire Bulgor unit here lifted and taken off the board. That's key. That's really big.
They're so fragile. Yeah. They're so fragile. It's been such a fun week of watching these armies get hit by these Bulgor units.
Yes.
And then
them disappear.
Just vanishing in the next turn. Like, literally anyone would be like, oh, you're dead now.
Yeah. Rob, remember, they charged into a unit of shooters.
This is... This is the bottom of turn 2. I'm pretty certain. That we'll get that double checked. This is the bottom of turn 2. So there is a priority roll coming up. So Be'lakor going into the middle now to hold that objective, as we talked about. And we do have more beasts moving up into the middle of the board. And there is a double. There is another priority roll coming up.
Yeah.
So the Beast of Chaos can push more aggressively into these lines, and I assume we got that unit Be'lakor, the unit of...
No, it was this unit of wind charges up the top here that got Be'lakor.
Nice, okay, so pin them back so they couldn't come into the fray. Okay, so in a good turn, you might see a lot of Thibaut's resources reduced even further.
Yeah.
Thibaut gets a turn, though, and then Thibaut is going to be able to put a lot of her into Casper's resources. And so this is very interesting. They're both very fragile with lots of output. It's nice seeing that kind of nice balance of the priority rolls determining the output. You can build more survivable armies, Dan. You can have stronger units like we're seeing in Rune's game, for example, but you lose out on all of the power projection.
Yeah.
It's just it's nice seeing that. Right, so we're getting a priority roll on table 4. Huge priority on table 4.
Oh, wow.
So it went to Denmark. Christopher, who has, as of yet, never lost this list. Gotrek is in the middle of the board, right next to Durthu
and Alariel.
And the Alariel, and it looks like the Warsong Revenant. If we can get a shot. So Christopher looking pretty pleased with himself. Let's get a shot of Christopher. He is
he's feeling pleased now, but he was absolutely sweating bullets coming into that priority roll.
Yeah, so Godric actually, so that's a Tree Lord in the middle, a Warsong Revenant, and also, thanks John, there's a Lariel. That is so good. So that's the second time Christopher has won a priority this tournament.
Wow.
And what a priority to win.
I won't lie, Rob. I'm devastated because seeing Gotrek go in there and carve up some trees or some spirit ladies would have been incredibly satisfying. Quinton definitely disappointed on that one.
I feel gutted for Quentin Dubois. Yeah, he's had a tough match there. So the Alariel that belongs to him is still nestled in the little tree forest back there.
Yep.
And again, from the very off, Christopher has put himself in a position to battle along that tabletop. He's got the Durthu down at the bottom. He's got this screening unit. He is going to have to go deal with this unit that's coming from Quentin at the bottom. And then he's got this top board. So he's got his Alariel as well. Now if he wants to, he can take his Alariel and be somewhere else, which is going to be quite important. Clear some of these units. This is a game of, I think, in my personal opinion, clearing a lot of these units out, making sure they can't get there. Just let Gotrek have the center if he wants to.
Just say
hit everything else. Alariel coming in is going to be an issue. I'm very interested to see what he decides to do. I love mirror matches, Dan. I'm a huge mirror match fan. They are very dynamic and they're very interesting because you only have this really interesting dynamic. But this is particularly interesting because there's some huge resources in single models here, and there's a lot to play for. We've got some updates from what's happening around the world. France versus Sweden. So Milladin, and we forgot to tell you this guy to you all earlier. So Milladin, who we saw do really well with his Beast of Chaos earlier, when in the France versus Sweden match, which is also, I guess, our semi-final in many ways. One of the games that's going to decide who wins the event. Milladin chose. He was like, "Hey, coach, I'm pretty good at Warhammer. Put me into Ronya.
I want that. I want the challenge.
I love that. I think that I got a lot of time for Milladin. I got to see him a lot of singles. He seems like a really sweet guy. Plays real good Warhammer, and I got to see him and seeing him be like, no, I'm not winning. I'm not winning with the. Give me the biggest man in the room. That's the way I'm going to the top. I like that a lot. I think that's really good. I think that's super sweet.
And have we got an update on that round by any chance?
We've got Milladin versus Ronya is very close. There's only 35 minutes on Milladin's clock. That's not really a surprise to me. He's quite a precious player. He's playing Beast of Chaos, so very much like we've seen in all of the Beast of Chaos games. Once you've done your move, it's all over. But you have to do your move. So he's done his move. Looking very close but early. USA have beat Spain by 1 game so far.
Wow.
So what tables? Oh, this is table 3.
Table three.
We have the Bulgor.
The Bulgor have cleared this. They've gone.
They won the priority.
Back. Yeah.
They must have won the priority then. So they've won that priority in that match.
Yeah.
Oh, this is still the bottom of 2.
Which means they've cleared this unit they were engaged in on the charge, I'm assuming, with mortal wounds. Then they've used this Doom Ball here, has given them the ability to double charge in the combat phase into the back, meaning there's no Unleash Hell, they're not getting shot, which makes sense. That's why he put that Bellicor Dark Master on this unit of wind charges in the top right, because he knew this unit was going to be too small, this unit was going to be dead, and this unit was going to be into it.
I think Casper's. Yeah, fist bump from the Danish team. I think Casper's about to get a big win here. This is really... Oh, there we go.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, Casper's been like a really solid, focused player.
Yeah.
Like in each one of the rounds. Like I haven't seen him get tilted. I haven't seen him get too excited. He's just been very focused. He's had a job to do. He's turned up and he's done the job.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm here. I'm ready to do what I'm told. Oh, so Tebow's a great player as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, super lovely guy. And he, look at him. He's like, he's real nice. And he's like, please don't kill all my boys. Yeah,
please, I need them.
I need them. If you could not kill them, that would be great.
You could not kill all of my bow children. Look, this is a big play. Now, he needed 8, by hearing, I think he needed 8 mortal wounds on the impact to get it, or he needed an 8 on the charge, and he got it. He needed an 8-inch charge, and he got it. Wow. Massive. Okay.
So we have an update for you to see exactly who. So France and Denmark, the current 2 leaders, just so you can see here, and what their path to victory was. So I'd say Denmark definitely had the tougher route.
Yes.
Denmark took out, not to round 1, obviously, they're Canada. But then...
How dare you? France had to play Australia.
Oh, Canada. Canada's first cap at the event, so they're trying their hardest.
Yeah.
Right? And I think they've learned a lot, and they're currently in a strong position against
Ireland.
Germany. And what they... who hasn't? Right? That's not fair. Republic of Ireland did win a round.
They did.
Yeah, so everyone... And that's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Every team has won a round.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can hold their heads up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Canada, then they went into England, and that was the upset of the tournament.
Huge.
113.
And not just an upset. Like, if they'd have won, it would have been an upset. But almost capping England, staggering.
Yeah, that's...
You would not have thought... You might have said, it'd be interesting, England might lose a round, but to lose a round like that...
Yeah.
Wow.
That's devastating.
Wow.
That's devastating. And then they played USA, and very close, only 8 points in it. Then they played France, a little bit more. What is that? That's 16 points in it.
Yep.
Then they played Sweden, and that was a big win again.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Also, by the way, Denmark beat Canada in to snot the same way they beat England to snot. They're like, you two, colonies, out. Right?
And then the USA put up a defense.
Yeah. USA was like, don't worry, we got rid of that.
Yeah.
And then now they're playing Belgium. France's path to victory is a little bit kind of easier. Germany are a great team, but they didn't pose much of a threat into Australia, and then they didn't get as many points out of Australia as you would have thought.
Absolutely.
Australia have really improved this year.
Yeah.
It's really impressive to see. Into Poland, this is actually a staggering win. Yeah, so Poland definitely one of the teams to beat, and they did it. Then they lost to Denmark, and then they gave Italy a good kick-in.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting to see who they have played.
Yeah.
If you look, France haven't had to play England as an example of one of the teams that they haven't had to play. France also haven't had to play the USA, another strong team.
Yeah.
But they're currently playing against Sweden. Thanks, Iggy. That's great. Absolutely love that. Okay. So we're going over to table 8, Dan. It's the top of round 3, and Slaanesh have won the priority.
Wow.
And if you look, we did see this Lord of Change push in here, but the Keeper of Secrets is free, ready to rock. All of the Blissbarb Archers ready to rock. The Slipblade Seekers are ready to rock. I don't think they're engaged in combat. We need to get a little bit of a shot on that. Oh, John's already done it. Thank you, John.
You ledge.
To see if he's got that in. No, the Contorted Epitome is locked in there, so if he wants to, he can go and pick up a ton. He can go and ton Okay, so then he's going to be able to go use these units and go and take a load of depravity out of these armies if he wants to. A smart play would probably be trying to send one of these units Slick Blades up here.
Yep.
Also, to keep it into the bird at the same time for a bit of birder. That will get him a double, some board presence twice.
I love how you've come around to birder.
Yeah, great. I love it.
Also, look, let's remember, we had a really aggressive push from the two Keepers of Secrets. This one seems to have bounced back, gotten back behind the screen, maybe seen that the other one, led the other one, said, come on, mate, let's go for it, out into the middle, we'll solo it ourselves, and then went, yeah, nah, you're on your own, son, and has ducked back there. It'd be interesting to know which objectives are active. It looks like there are tokens on the 3 middle, but they might just be lights. We will find out from the table boss which ones are the scoring objectives at this point in time, because we're obviously in this battle plan. For those who aren't aware, the person that goes second in the battle round activates an objective, and you only score the objectives which are active. So winning the battle round and wanting to capitalize on a double turn has a penalty. Oh, okay. So the active objectives at this point in time are the left, right, and the Zinch home.
I really want to go back to table 4, Dan, because I just want to, I know, this is our Sylvaneth match between Quentin Dubois and Christopher, and I really want to see what Christopher did here. We missed a bit of Christopher's last turn as he bodied a Daughters of Cain army, and I want to see what this smart MF is about to do here, because he seems like he is on it when it comes to Warhammer, and I want to know what I want to know what's in that brain.
Yeah.
I want to is that brain so big it needs tying in?
That's what it is. I think that's the issue is it'd crack open his skull like an egg, like a melon, if he didn't keep it tied down.
Give me that knowledge, Christopher. I want to know what's inside your noggin. Okay, so what has he done? He's so far not moved his Alariel.
Yeah.
He hasn't moved his Durthu. He hasn't. Oh no, he's moved his Durthu, which is in the bottom right-hand corner. Sorry,
it looks like it's up here next to the woods. If we look up in the top,
but he hasn't moved his Warsong Revenant.
Yeah,
he hasn't moved his Tree Lord, and then Alariel hasn't currently moved.
Rob, do you think he thinks he's going to kill Gotrek in a turn? Do you think he's just holding this board presence at this point in time and is assuming that the Ginger Ninja's going to go down to just a weight of dice?
What is he doing? How many wounds are on Gotrek? What's it? No, there we go. There's the pipeline move.
Yeah,
he's just been thinking about it this whole time. This guy has been doing 4D chess mentally while inside of a tree. Some say he was born in a forest.
That's how he understands.
That's how he understands the forest people so well.
There's definitely a couple of 9-inch rulers away from Gotrek. Thanks for that shot there, Scribo. That's gorgeous.
Just carnival.
Yeah.
It's just carnival music in Christopher's head.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the idea that he's just got unhinged music playing in his head.
While he's standing there, so steely-eyed and serious, it's just like the discordant chimes of a carnival playing. Yeah. I could believe that.
I can believe that too. Absolutely brilliant. I confirm Christopher was born in a forest. Thank you, Bjorn Friborg.
Yeah, good.
I appreciate that. This is looking very interesting, this match. Jumping back to table 1. And see what Slaanesh was able to do against these Fyreslayers, whether or not they were able to pin them back. Does look like they lost the unit on the left-hand side, which is kind of odd. But hopefully they get to keep them. The unit on the right-hand side still holding that objective. Don't forget. So that Lord of Pain is on this left objective, scoring him additional victory points. So definitely loads of extra points being scored by Denmark on this at the moment. And then the Fyreslayers army is just pinned in pretty successfully in the bottom of the board at the minute.
Yeah.
We've got to see what happens there. This is thrilling stuff, Dan.
Yep.
Thrilling stuff.
Really awesome. I mean, the Fyreslayers still have a lot of pieces on the board to play with, but at the bottom of turn 3, these 2 objectives are gone. So no points there. So your only chance to get it is to score 1, score 2, score more for 3 points. But the chances of them with the pace, they've got a huge screen. Look at the block there. We've got a block there. We've got the Bliss Barbs with a contorted epitome.
Our Seekers have moved along the board edge here.
Yeah, they're going to be. They're clearly going to be trying to either come for a back end, or maybe they're going to be denying a grand strat or getting a grand strat. That's what I'm thinking there. Maybe
definitely. Yeah, that's a great idea.
I think we might see a similar play here and a similar play here as well. Because if they put them in there, they're saying this unit I don't need for the rest of the battle, but they're going to be worth 3 points at the end.
I agree. Okay, you love to see it. This is good. Okay, so we're going to jump over to table 5 right now, where don't forget So it's still Nicholas's turn for Team Belgium. This is when he put a unit of Bulgor into Rune's very unique Ymetrica Lumineth Realm Lords army. He tried to get this charge in before, wasn't able to do it. Put 6 Bulgor in. They whiffed a little bit, didn't do much damage, and now he's had to go in again. He won the priority. He's put 6 in, and, ladies and gentlemen, a Be'lakor is also in this mix as well.
Now, Rob, I got a question for you. If you put 6 Bulgor into a combat and they died to a bull with none surviving, what would you do?
Just do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again, Rob.
They say madness is repeating a process, and it's always expecting the same, even though you know it's the same result, or something like that. But just keep going.
This time,
just keep going.
Well, and this says you go, I've put the Bulgor in again, but this time with a Be'lakor. Now, all we've seen, looks like we've seen a couple of units.
What did we
there.
see take that off the board?
Yeah.
Was that the Light of Altharion off the charge? I'd love to know that.
That would be huge.
But like Dan. Light of Altharion is still there. Okay. Now, Rune is probably going to be getting literally inside the eyeballs of Teclis right now, as you see. But the important part to note, maybe, is that
looks like we might have had a failed charge with the Doom Bull into the Cathalar. That definitely he would have wanted to get
whatever the situation, Dan, they've got some pretty weak board presence. They've got some pretty weak board presence, and they're running out of units as well. And I don't know if you noticed, Dan, but that Alarith mount, Stone Mountain, is still in the back.
Yeah.
So these Bulgor are just applying this pressure, but they aren't hitting the meat of the army.
Yeah.
So Altharion is still up. The Stone Mountain is up, and then the Spirit, the big Cow Mountain is up. Look at Rune. Rune's just
look at that calf. Even his knee has muscles.
Yeah, he's just like, just by the way, I just didn't do my shoelace.
Yeah.
I'm not stressed about this game. I just wanted to sort that out.
Do it.
In case I need to just run when I get the trophy.
Yeah. Nick, unlucky, I think, with that charge because his battle tactic was to kill a unit on the charge with those impact hits, and it sounds like he might not have achieved it. I think he was maybe relying on the Doom Bull charge into the Cathalar to do the work there.
Okay, an hour and a half left on the round now before we find out who is going to be the world team champions. Obviously, there's going to be an award ceremony, and we will stream it. But for the moment, all of these results are going to be piled in. We still don't have many results. I have seen a second Team USA game be finished. Unsurprisingly, it is Tom Guan. He hates playing Warhammer.
No, he
hates it.
He's the most furious player.
Yeah, and I think that's two wins to the USA now.
Wow,
which is pretty interesting. They're not really in a shot of winning the event. So we're going on table 3 now. Now, this was our Bulgor going into, and our Beast of Chaos army being played by Casper going into the Ymetric army. It's interesting. We've got both Beast of Chaos lists going into both of the Lumineth Realm Lords list across all of the armies. And it looks like Beast of Chaos are again doing really well. I personally would say that this is an auto win for Beast of Chaos in a lot of ways. The difference is that Rune's list is quite different to what you would normally see. And then Thibaut's list is also quite different in another way as well.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe that pairing would have matched, was chosen because they play well into Lumineth, not realizing that the focus would be Lumineth into Helon, not so much Lumineth into the Ymetrica. So we just heard Thibaut has won the priority role now, and he's thinking about it, but he is resource light now. He has Lior there that you can see. And he also has some sentinels, and wind charges. But that is all he's got left on the board. Oh, that's not true. I think there are 2 fast riders in combat with a cockatrice at the moment. Very brave. So
important. And look at this important match. Yeah, he will be. Yeah, this will be really good.
So let's remember, when this match started, we had a really solid Lumineth bunker here. We had 2 20s of shooters. We had wind charges screening at the back. We had 10s and 10s. And then when the beasts came in, and they came in fast, they came in strong, we had a big unit of Bulgor go in here. They did underperform, but they did do a decent amount of damage, a little bit of damage before they died. But this second unit of Bulgor backed up by the big beastly Doomball. They came in once, they killed a unit. They came in twice, they've just about killed a unit. Be'lakor has come across and killed a unit. The beasts have basically taken this Lumineth castle and picked it apart piece by piece.
Yes.
And you love to see it.
You do love to see it. It's been very, very impressive. I've loved to see it, Dan, and I'm excited to see more of it. Okay, table 6. Tzeentch have won priority into turn 3. This is against this Caradron Overlords force, but if you look, Dan, Tzeentch have got less and less bodies. We had a unit of Enlightened here, and they got charged by the Celestin Prime, and they won that combat, so that's gone really well for them. They've been able to push out, but we have a unit of Thunderers here and our unit of Thunderers here, so they're in a pretty good position to keep delivering the hurt across the board. Thank you very much, John. You can see all of them. We have all of our characters out of the boat as well, and we've just seen 2 Enlightened picked up right now, with 1 Enlightened left at the moment.
Looks like an admiral there who'll no doubt get his hammer stuck in if the shooting doesn't do it.
So that was a hero phase attack. Because they're going second, he used the strike at the opening heroic action, which lets you fight in the hero phase, and the Admiral was able to lift 2 of those Enlightened. Huge. And that's really good because he wants to free. What he wants to do is he wants to free this unit of shooters away. He needs to shoot them, free them by the shooting phase so they can put some shooting down here into this army. Whether or not he's going to get the time to do that, we'll see. I think we were able to lose our boat. I think we lost our boat as well, unless it's somewhere else on the board.
It might have jumped across to pick up an objective.
It's out.
No, it's out. It's off the board. It's dead.
Interesting.
So looking at this, remember what we said. We saw at deployment the very tricksy Tzeentch doing exactly what we thought they would. They put out screens. They kept all of their important units back here in the bubble, afraid to extend because they knew the pace of this KO list, the ability to move with the boats, was always going to be a threat to them. So screens died here. We lost a screen up the top, and then they replaced them with the next unit. However, those screens also died. We saw the commitment of the Enlightened, but unfortunately every single thing they've thrown forward has just been fodder for the gun lines of the KO as they've shot them to bits. And now, running out, we've got a handful here, but they are running out of screens to hide behind, and very soon this last roast chicken here is going to have his goose cooked.
Yeah, he's not long for this world, which is very rough. Table 7. Okay, so just keep you updated on exactly what happened in this match earlier. There's been very interesting priority rolls, specifically because the first turn was giving away by the Daughters of Cain army. They activated this objective. The Gitz army didn't do overly much in that turn. They just traded some pieces. Then into the priority into turn 2, the Gitz won the turn. They gave the turn back to Caradron Overlords, like, you're out of range to do any hurt to us, so we're going to control our own objective. And now they've backed and forth, and it looks like, quite interestingly, and Adam earlier on did say in the chat that it looks like this is Belgium's tactic on this battle plan, is deploy into a corner and not engage. And then just, because normally you consider this to be your home objective, so what they've done is they've made this their home objective. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. So, I actually didn't think about that strategy. That's great.
So they're making that their objective, but this does just give this whole board to
you're effectively saying where the Gitz deployed along here and said this is our home objective, but we can press our power out across these 3. You're saying this is our home objective, so we've got 2 at home, but we really can only press out for 1 more. So I guess you're doing is, instead of going, we own 1 and we can play for 3 more, you're saying I own 2 and I can play for 1, which I would say maybe most of the time does help you, because if you can control 3, your odds are better than if you play and can't control all of them. But in this, just the pace of the squigs, and what we've seen here is the greenskins have basically drawn a line across this board here and said, we own 3 and you'll have to come out of your shell if you want any more. It'll be interesting to see how they go.
Yeah, this is holding the board is going to be very, very tough for Spiros, and he isn't making any roads to do so. That's the bit that's really shocking me about this match, is that Spiros is also not engaging. And I'm not really sure why. This is a play that's very confusing to me. Okay, so Boingrots are doing Desecrate because they're garrisoned in the castle. Dan, did you know that in order to desecrate a garrison, you have to be garrisoned inside the terrain feature?
Yeah, I learnt that this weekend, though. Not
As did several of the world's players.
Oh, yeah.
Whole teams learnt that.
Yeah. In fact, they were just before, we were walking past having a chat to a couple of players before this round, and Madigan, the walking rules encyclopedia, incredible mind there. The teams were doubting it. She leant in, and she was able to say, exactly, this is the rule.
Yes. So yeah, Casper with a C in a previous game forgot it and lost a game. So now Casper with a K for Denmark is like, I'll never forget.
Never again.
Never
again. But it's really interesting to see that top level play. And I think something that we do notice is that a lot of tournaments around, they say if both players agree, you don't have to play with the terrain rules, which is like saying if both players agree, you don't have to do the shooting phase. Yeah. It's an element of the pack, and a lot of people getting caught out because clearly they don't play with enough. Terrain rules have a massive impact on the game. Yeah. However you feel about them, you should absolutely be using them while they exist inside the rulebook. Yeah,
so Casper is playing very, very smartly, as is Spiros. Hauger Mikanos in the chat, that's definitely wrong, he's saying that he thinks this is a terrible matchup for Daughters of Cain. That could be a fair point, and so all that Spiros wants to do is he wants to just get as many points on the board as possible. Casper is playing sensibly. He's rocking up as many points as he can. Yeah. He's overscoring, which I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think you have to go full send. I think that's what some of these teams have to go for. Similarly, you have to be in the same place for the French team and the Swedish team. Both of those have to do full send. We've got no updates on those games so far, Dan, and it's going to be really tough. Maybe John can give us a roaming cam of the French and Swedish matchup running down the line. That'll be really fun to think about. But that'll be a close match at the moment, Dan.
Yeah, in the chat, Militant Snowflake is saying, I just hate the terrain rules, and I completely understand that. I hate the magic phase. I hate people casting spells. That's why I always say to them, nah, let's just not do it. No terrain,
but they love
no
doing
magic.
it for some reason.
Yeah, absurd. Why would you want it?
Right, okay, so in our match, we did what I said did happen, Dan. You did see the Keeper Secrets go into the Lord of Change on the left-hand side, and then you saw this other unit engage in the center here. I'm pretty certain this is our summoned unit of that's our summoned unit of Demonettes. Is what we saw, and they engaged in the center. So and then the Keeper is going to be able to potentially use Euphoric Killers to get even more depravity points. So Alex is in a tough spot, just taking models off the board at the minute, and then Slaanesh and Valentin looking very close. Very, very close. The Lords of Change. So the Lord of Change has taken 7 wounds, and the Keeper has not struck yet. Right, so not only have we got this match between Denmark and Belgium, and they are looking to win the event, ladies and gentlemen. There is another series of games that are very important as well. So this is Sweden versus France, and here you can see Sweden and France at the minute battling out, and it does look like and we are going to start looking at this match between France and Sweden, which is a pretty exciting match. John's going to give us the John's going
to have a chat.
John's going to have a chat. No, now John's going to.
Thank you, Jono.
Okay, so this is our so John's our spy. So if you look, it looks like France has paired their Slaanesh force into the Slaves to Darkness, maybe a Beast of Chaos army. I don't know what we're seeing, but it looks like Slaanesh are in a dominant position there. Into the Skaven, of course. Into the Skaven. And it looks like they're in a good position there. Okay, so that's looking really good for France. We'll move along the tables, John. That's pretty good.
Now, Rob, I was able to just have a chat with the captain of the Swedish team. And Well, we were chatting about it. He said it's very close. It's absolutely on a knife edge. For every game that seems to be going to one country's way, there is one going back against them.
Right. Okay.
There have been games played right out of the knife, right out of balance. But the game between Milledon and Ronya right now is absolutely electric.
Nail biter. Okay, I'm not surprised by that. It looks like we have our Daughters of Cain match here being played by Sweden up against Iron Jaws being played by France. One of the few Iron Jaws games that we've seen, so that's pretty interesting to see. Okay, let's move on, John. Let's go to the next table. Iron Jaws versus Daughters of Cain. Two melee armies. Very, very interesting. Here you can see our Caradron Overlords player playing against Soulblight Gravelords. That's Jesper is going to be playing. So currently KO look like they've got a lot of bodies on the board, but Manfred is still up. Zombies are still up. Okay.
Yeah, still a bit of board presence for the Soulblight.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. All right, we can move on. There's a lot of models off the board there, but that's pretty interesting. Then we have Sweden, and it looks like we have got our
Lumineth Realm Lords into Slaanesh, I believe.
Yeah, Lumineth Realm Lords into...
Because that looks like some Seekers on the left-hand side there.
It does. Let's just double-check that.
Is that... Yeah, that's Lumineth. That's Lumineth archers, right?
No, that's Lumineth into Archeon.
Oh, Lumineth into Archeon.
Yeah. There's Archeon.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah, Lumineth into Archeon right now, and those splintered fang. Don't forget we saw that go really badly for the Archeon previously because he shut down two of those units, a splintered fang with all of those spells.
Did we just see Archeon lifted off the... Oh, no, he moved. I thought we came just in time to see him die.
Okay, it's going to be a bit rough because it's going to really struggle to get the splintered fang into those because of those spells, into those sentinels because of those spells, but we'll see what happens. Then we'll just move on to the next table.
Table is the table, Rob.
Honestly, looking good for France so far on pairings. Yeah, so there's Ronya, the Night Queen herself, against Milledon with his Beast of Chaos versus the Gloomspite Gits. This will be a great match. Milledon's a really solid player. Ronya's an incredible player as well, and this will be very close. Right now, we're still waiting for Milledon to drop his big bricks of Bulgor. Haven't seen any so far. Not looking at any so far, but looks like we're seeing some units go into the Boingrot Bounders. Oh, the Bulgor charged in, killed Scragrot, killed the Loon Boss, but then died in return.
Wow, okay, but that's a pretty decent trade. You'd be happy with that?
Nah, you need to kill, please. You need to kill, yes, please, water. You need to kill the what they called? Boingrot Bounders, but no one's killed them.
That's
true.
The
next game, we have got Tzeentch playing into...
Is it Tzeentch? No,
it's not Fyreslayers.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Tzeentch into Fyreslayers right now. Okay, Tzeentch needing to... this is going to be pretty interesting, actually. I think Tzeentch will have an okay game into Fyreslayers.
Yep.
But similarly, I think... And if you look, there aren't... the Slayers are in the middle of the board. Kairos is there. The Magmadroth is up. Okay, all right. Okay. The Cockatrice is at the end. Interesting. All right, okay, so that's the next game between France and Sweden. Let's move on. There's Lillian, the captain, focusing, paying attention. There's
with
Yorin,
a gorgeous moustache.
There's Yorin, the captain of singles. Thank you so much. There's Yorin, the captain of singles, the winner of singles.
Yep.
Yeah, with his Gloomspite Gits playing up against, it looks like, Khorne.
Khorne. Yeah. Oh, actually, I got an update from this game, Rob. So the Gloomspite Gits went in and just about cleared the whole army off the board of Khorne using summoning. He brought that Bloodthirster, who's not the one he started with. He summoned a Bloodthirster who charged in and was in a position where if it boomed, if he was a Boomthirster, it would have just about deleted a huge chunk of the army and crippled it. But he didn't spike, didn't roll it at all, and now it's back to a slapping match. But still, again, potentially, if he does boom, it'll happen.
Khorne look like they don't have a lot of resources here, though. So this is looking really tough for Sweden. All right, let's move on. Let's move on really quickly to our final game there. So there is Jonas, the organizer of Exen. Yeah, he's up against Christoph. This is Slaanesh versus Khorne. 3 lots of 20 Blood Warriors versus, it looks like, a Slaaneshi force. Honestly, I'm just going to say it now, Dan, it's looking bad for Sweden.
Yeah, looking a little bit. Look, from what I heard from them, they were still pretty confident. They still felt okay about it, but I think some of those pairings definitely look like they're going France's
Don't
way.
forget, there's only 2 points. 2 points between Denmark and France.
Yeah.
So Sweden, the Nordic brothers of the Danish, looking to hold France back. I mean, obviously trying to win it themselves.
Yeah.
Obviously trying to win themselves. And actually, there's a quite nice side story to this. Belgium, also containing some members of the French team from last year, up against the Danes, trying to hold the Danes back. So you have 2 different, do you know
French
what I mean?
elements.
You have the French team against their Nordic brothers, and then the Danes against the French's brothers. So there's a nice little duality in that
Awesome.
there.
Rob, we haven't.
It just means next year we should cover 16 games, Dan.
How dare you? What, do you want to make tears come out my face? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I look really pretty when I cry.
Don't be a Sweden doomer, Rob. I'm not being a Sweden doomer.
Such a Sweden doomer.
Yeah. Right, okay, so this match that we're looking at on table 1 is Mouth with his Slaanesh force representing Denmark against Sevastos representing Belgium with his Greyfeared Fyreslayers army. And as you can see, he has done exactly what Dan said previously. He took out the wings earlier with loads of charges, taking out these different units on the board edge, but then hasn't decided to charge into the middle, but is instead zoning the middle out. Isn't that right?
Yeah, look, the Fyreslayers, they started in this bunker, this beefy, red-headed bunker, but they just haven't been able to get out of it. They've been the whole time. Every time they try to play out, like here, we see a unit punches them back off. They're just not able to do it. So they've been trapped into the middle, and that's stopping them from advancing and stopping them from scoring points.
Yeah, I think this is looking really good for Denmark. They're in a really solid place in this matchup, at least. So I think that's looking good.
Yeah.
Table 2, we're about to go into Belgium round 3. And I want you to know something that happened here, Dan, because it's pretty amazing. I just want to... Yeah, so the Soul Screen Bridge, which has been dropped by the Karajan Overlords, I'm just here.
Wow.
Now, this unit of Thunderers was able to kill the Varangard down to 1 Varangard left. The Varangard, though, was able to use the Soul Screen Bridge dropped by the Karajan Overlords to teleport over and claim an objective.
Wow.
Which is very, very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just absolutely excellent. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, that's not working. All right, I'll sort that out. Okay.
But wonderful play, because usually what we see is an endless spell like that go down and then not get used, or only get used by the deploying player. But the Varangard seizing the opportunity to jump back through, and that's also potentially left those poor dwarves just out in the cold, thinking that they had a shooting match, and then nothing to go for. Because even now, if these dwarves jump back through that bridge, so if they come through here, jump off and get out here, they've got nothing to shoot, because the pace of those Varangard has way outdistanced the pace of those guns. And now Morton, what he's going to try and do is unbind this bridge.
Close it behind him.
And then be
Close it behind him. Thank you for that.
So what will have happened if that's the case? Amazing play, is that from all the way over here, thank you, Scrivo, just hold that shot for 2 seconds. From all the way over here, we had a unit of Varangard run off, like all the way to the edge of the table, kill an Ironclad, beat up the unit, use their ejection method of the Soul Screen Bridge to get over to this edge. And then
we just get an update. Sorry, carry on, Dan, sorry.
Used to get over here. Then they've gone all the way over here and started smashing up the other unit. Smashing up the other unit, and so now what the question is has the player realized that if he gets rid of that bridge...
So apparently it's a Swedish coach who's noticed that he can get rid of the bridge and close the door behind him, but he did not stop it. The player himself may not have realized it and has not actually...
so the coach has noticed, but he can't tell the player.
That's got to be so frustrating.
No, but that's good. That's what it should be.
No, yeah, but can you imagine being the coach, being like, just unbind the bridge, just unbind the bridge? Very much like us when we watch a game, but they're a lot more intimately involved.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, he didn't tell his player because he's not allowed to. But yeah, that's looking very close. just checking. Apparently, they can hear. I honestly, everyone, it's been a really thrilling 5 days of Warhammer coverage. But I'd also like you to know it's been 5 days of Warhammer coverage, and the best games being on the end feels backwards, Dan.
Yeah,
I know it's the way it should be done, but
Rob, isn't it? Again, to go back to this, look at the distance that this board has been covered.
huge.
Yeah.
This unit of Slaves to Darkness started there. Great shout, Dan. Ran and charged into his bottom left-hand corner. Used the... No, the bridge is still there.
We got excited for a second. They're trapped. They left the dwarves in the corner of the board. No boat, nowhere to go.
Then the unit at the top charged over there. Like, they've just been everywhere. They've been all over the place. The KO have been all over the place. The game has been all over the place.
I've always appreciated Varangard, but I've never appreciated their pace quite like this. Now, let's see how this...
Oh, he remembered. He remembered to...
Oh, no.
He remembered to unbind the bridge, and then he rolled a 4.
Wow.
That would have been huge.
Huge.
That would have been huge.
Okay.
It's quite interesting, actually. You can definitely leave some of these units. Like, I'm really enjoying watching players drag units out of where they're meant to be, especially on objectives. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
It's quite fun.
Shall we go through?
Table 3.
Table 3.
This is our Beast of Chaos match versus our Helon army for Lumineth Overlords.
Yeah, Rob.
Top right-hand side was covered in Sentinels, 60 Sentinels, in fact, and no tech list. But now the Bulgor charged at the top, charged in. Another unit of 6 charged in. It's bottom of 3, Beast of Chaos turn, and there looks like there is not much left.
No, so we had this really strong Lumineth block here with 60 Sentinels spread across it, no techless, so to capitalize on damage. But we had a combined arms press of Bulgor here and here that's taken them off the board. We had Be'lakor use his Darkmaster ability to pin a unit of wind charges in the backfield in the top right, and all it seems to have survived is that unit of wind charges that was Be'lakored here has moved around the back of the board to hold this objective just in time for the Darkmaster to come down and slam into them. He's probably going to tear them apart in combat, saying, "No, I told you to stay where you were meant to be, you naughty elven children. Get off of my objective."
The other thing that we're hearing is that we got a... Yeah, he's on fire. So Casper's making another charge, and he made a charge in the previous Lumineth turn by charging in the hero phase.
He's charging in both of their turns.
Yeah, super close to wipe out all of the Sentinels. Because if this starts to go your way, if you get to keep charging your opponent's turn, shutting stuff down with Be'lakor, it just becomes a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Look at that. These are just mortal wound impact hits.
Wow.
6 Sentinels died just from the charge alone, and then those 6 Bulgor are going to do some real good work.
These Bulgor are just oppressive.
But very fragile.
Yeah,
you have to remember, like, this is very much like the Sylvaneth game, where, like, Sylvaneth and also these Beast of Chaos plays are high-end plays.
Absolutely.
Like, they require a lot of thought processing, they require a lot of, like, timing, and also... they have to put all of them in the right place, which is just very hard to do.
Yeah. So table 4, our Sylvaneth mirror match. Now, wow. Okay, so the last time we saw this board...
wait, hold on. He said Casper. Does he mean table 4? Let's just find out.
Yeah.
Let's find out for a moment.
Christopher. Okay.
Christopher has won the priority.
So the last time we saw this board, Quinton had kind of bricked up his units here. He had a lot of models still in play in that back area. Since then, we have seen them absolutely bust out, but it doesn't look like there's many left.
Give me that shot.
Let's get a shot.
Wait, hold on. Where we left it. Gotrek was in the middle, Dan. I don't know if Gotrek's alive anymore.
No, he can't be dead. He can't be dead. I refuse to believe it.
Gotrek's alive! Gotrek's here. He's moved down.
He's moved down.
But don't forget, Christopher won the turn, and then what he did was he teleported everything over here to clear this part of the board.
Yep.
But look at this! John's got the shot. Never did I think on the very final table of World Championships this year when I see Alariel versus Alariel, but apparently I'm seeing it.
Incredible.
This is mine. The Danish Alariel has taken 10 damage. And the Belgian Alariel has taken 6 damage.
Now, have either of them died yet? Because Alariel gets to come back to life once, does she not?
This is bonkers. We'll make sure all the scores are updated on each table. Make sure they're absolutely spot on for you at home. Mike is on it. Go on, Mike.
Look at Gotrek.
Yeah.
Gotrek out there, alone but alive and looking like he's unwounded, which I think...
Gotrek's alive?
Gotrek's alive.
Gotrek's alive?
Send out Warlock and Ajax to bring back his body. Again, another oldest time reference, and I hope you appreciated it.
Gotrek's alive?
I'm hearing laughter in my ears from the table
From
bosses.
all the old men listening to the stream.
And I hope you appreciate it. Okay, so looking at that play, Gotrek, I would love to know if he's killed anything this game. As much as it hurts me to say, I have a feeling that the orange Ginger Ninja came down here looking for a fight. The fight went this way and
Where's
left him alone.
Quentin's obviously Quentin's the using the Winterleaf army, and it looks like he's able to grab this objective. I'm wondering where our Durthu went, because it looks like he may have struck and fought. And he did. Look, so we did have our Tree Lord Ancient, and we had our Warsong Revenant. Both of them have dropped back, and they are also right next to our Durthu belonging to Christopher. So now we haven't, I think, and if I'm right in saying this, we have lost the Durthu. No, we haven't. It's Alariel and Durthu into the other Alariel.
That would explain why Alariel here has only taken 6 wounds. Quentin's Alariel's only taken 6 wounds, where Christopher's has taken significantly more damage.
Yeah, so it's because, but Christopher's just won the turn.
Yeah, this is going to be huge.
So Christopher's just won the turn.
I mean,
and is he going to go after Durthu? Is he going to bring his Durthu in? Are we going to have like all the same models in the same part of the board?
I
Nowhere near the objectives. Durthu and Alariel into Durthu and Alariel. Who's the winner? Warhammer.
I mean, really tough for Quentin as well. He's had 2 turns where Gotrek was perfectly placed to tear a big hole in his opponent's army. Either of those priorities go his way, and it would have been a significantly different board state to what we're seeing right now. So, yeah, really tough on those priorities, but them's the breaks.
Oh, so apparently there's not Durthu in that combat. It's just 2 Alariels.
Okay.
But we are seeing the Tree Lord Ancient moving across the board here. It does look like we're seeing. That's the Durthu.
Okay. Look, I think Gotrek is probably in this army to deal with a number of different elements, but it's definitely not designed for this mirror match where nothing will stay still long enough for him to hit it. And I can imagine him huffing and puffing his way across the board.
Durthu has broken his sword, so he might not be as effective as we previously thought.
Well, we better tell him like it's WYSIWYG. It's what you see is what you get. If his sword's broken, no attacks from it.
A lot of Sylvaneth players aren't too keen. Okay, this is pretty interesting because it looks like I don't know if he's made the charge. If I get an update, if that charge has been made, because it looks like he just placed the model. So I don't know if he's put that unit outside yet and done the charge. I think what he's doing is looking at the board positioning.
Yeah.
If he does put him there, like if he does complete that charge, is he far? He's measuring it out. He probably wants to be far enough away from Gotrek. So Gotrek's quite hemmed in jumping between all of these different places, which is quite interesting because he is blocked back at the moment. He is blocked back. All right, we'll wait to see what he does. Oh, look, he might be putting Durthu to grab the objective. Maybe he doesn't care about the Alariel fight.
Or the other thing is if he can get something into Quentin's home trees, then he's going to stop him from striking and fading away.
Okay, yeah, I think this is an interesting one.
Yeah, really.
I think he needs to, he kind of wants to take the resources out, but he also has to score points. And scoring points requires that he actually gets involved in the fight at the top left-hand corner.
Looks like we've had a redeploy here, pulling this unit back further away from Durthu, securing the objective more solidly for Quentin, because he knows this fight is all tagged and caught up. Look, it looks like we're about to be handed a piece of paper, Rob.
There are 45 minutes left on the round.
Wow.
45 minutes, so we are getting towards the end of the tournament.
Rob, I just saw a big high five from 2 Team Italia players.
That's going to be rough.
So it just looks like they've finished their games. There was a big high five. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so they're going to be wanting to take out Team England. But ladies and gentlemen, I've got a bit of paper for everyone at home.
Okay, what's this bit of paper say, Rob?
So Team France, Milledin, decided he was going to play into Ronya. He wanted it.
He heard
she took a loss in the fight.
She was bleeding.
Before.
There was blood in the water, and like a shark.
And he's like, "That's it. I'm Milledin. I'm taking it out. I'm going after the queen."
She's down now to take her out.
She's down now, turn 2. Milledin managed to get himself a point in that battle, and Ronya beat him 19-1.
No.
19-1. So that's a win for Sweden. That puts a dent in France's attempt to win the tournament, and it also puts some points in Sweden's camp to try to podium. Already a big...
Wow, massive.
Anyone who's rooting for Denmark or Belgium,
that's big.
Everyone thank the Ronya.
Yeah, you can high five the Night Queen for taking a few more points.
Well, so as we start to get these points in now, so I don't know if Ziggy's going to run like a running score between at least like the top 4 teams.
Yeah, to see where they are.
If he's online, but you can add 19 to Sweden's score and 1 point and 1 to France, and hopefully we'll keep dragging that information out towards the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is one of those. Italy, England, I think we've already got 2. We've got 1 or 2 wins for Italy at the moment, but I don't know what else we're looking at the moment. We'll see. Looking pretty close. If Sweden beats France, beers for Swedes are on me in BOC or GT in Denmark. There we go. Go Sweden and Ronya. So lots of interest in the People's Champ. This is fun. Okay, let's jump through these games and let's just pay attention.
On to table 5, which is where we've got our Beasts for Belgium playing the Lumineth for Denmark, and wow, that's...
So Nicholas is not helping Denmark win this event. No. Nicholas is like, I think Belgium might win this event. I'm going for it. Yeah, so he's pushed all the way in with his Beast of Chaos, which I think is really, really good. Yeah. And he's, John got the shot. Yeah, look, all the Bulgor now are dead. They do die. It's amazing how quickly they die.
For how thick those kings are, they really do go down, which is really interesting, Rob. Every single unit of Bulgor we've seen in this event are paired cleavers, not sword and shield. Yeah. No one expecting them to survive for more than a second.
No one. They want all of the output and they want none of the survivability.
Yeah, which is an odd choice in an army where the rest of it is tiny little munted goat people.
Yeah, yeah. They are not... Oh, now that is true. The one version that we did see survive really well was when we saw Bill Sousa's version, the Hot Suze, with his sword and board versions survive against Ironjaws for 2 different turns.
That's true.
Those were Ironjaws, though, that did have both those war chanters sniped in 2 turns.
I was about to say.
Very different game, Charlie. Don't you gild the lily.
It wasn't the lack of pigs that did that. It was the lack of war chanters.
Oh, we're back to Rune looking over every element of the board.
He's too high. Rune, get lower. You can't know what's going on.
Inside the game, Rune.
Yeah, he's got to get low. Get low.
So the Light of Altharion is still alive, and if we look at some of the units that did die, Dan, it does look like we also lost our Stone Mountain man.
Or is that it over there? I think that's the...
Oh, he did! Oh my god, he's been teleported!
I think we've got a Stone Mountain here. I think Be'lakor has... So what we've traded, Be'lakor has pushed into this combat, and then the Stone Mountain just somehow they teleported an entire mountain to the outside of the board.
Spell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For the spell, of course.
Alive on that back right-hand objective. This is really good, because if you can cap... If he can cap this objective in the center, that means he's going to be able to move up and grab this objective. The score currently is very close. If Mike has nailed it, it's 15-12. We need to get... Mike, can you just make sure the score is absolutely perfect, please?
And remember, if you control either of these objectives, you can attempt 2 battle tactics. Now, I don't know what they have left or how hard that would be, but that could be a big point swing towards the end of the match.
Yeah, absolutely massive. What is the current force... what is the current full standing of France versus Sweden? Literally, there is no results. You don't get the results until the end, other than tidbits of information we hear from the tables. And the table 5 score is correct. Well, we haven't had battle tactics chosen. It's the top of 4, and who won the turn, please? We haven't had any battle tactics stuck on this. Beasts of Chaos have won it. Okay. All right, what are they going to do? They don't have any resources left other than Be'lakor. Be'lakor engaged with the Light of Altharion. I can't believe the Light of Altharion.
Wow.
I actually think it's legit.
That's Tekla still alive there as well.
I actually think the Light of Altharion being in combat is really great.
Yeah. Absolutely. Looking here, we've got Be'lakor engaged in the Light of Altharion. We have the Rune of Petrification up. We have Tekla still alive in the back corner. However, when we look at these objectives, they're bringing all of these bodies down here to take it.
But there's a Doom Ball. There's a Doom Ball ready to fight. There's Raiders ready to shoot.
There's 2 Doom Balls. There's Tomb Balls, Rob.
Tomb Balls.
Tomb Balls. There's an absolute bevy of balls.
Oh, no. That's too many balls.
Across this board,
too many.
It looks like we have a unit in the top holding there. We've got a unit holding there. And this big fight here, which I think is going to put Rune in a tough place. He's got the Mountain Cow over here. If he leaves at all, one of these units could easily sling down and pick up this objective. Be'lakor could duck back and pick up that objective. He's in a hard place.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we're just hearing some... okay. So there are... wait, what did we just hear?
Nicholas has gone for eye for an eye, and there are 2 surviving wardens somewhere in this melee that if he can pop them, that'll get it. They're behind Be'lakor. Oh, they're here. Right, okay. So this Doom Bull, this Boom Bull is here. If he gets this charge, he will almost certainly do it. So Doom Bull 1 would get it there. Doom Bull 2, the Tomb Bull, the Tombstone is going to come in the back there and try to get some damage.
Perfect.
And I think we'll see units here coming to put bodies on the objective and score it. Rob, this game, it has me thrilled.
It's a great game. Over on table 6, we have Julian Orient with his Disciples of Tzeentch force against Sven's from Denmark's Carriage on Overlords, Barek Urbaz, and he is, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's no longer a big chicken on the board. There's no lot of change for on this board, although we do have ourselves a Flux Master here. So Sven's turn, and Sven has got this game in the bag, but the board position is very difficult because he does have, this isn't a galley champ here, so he isn't going to be able to do extra tactics, but just whittling down. I think one of the reasons, Dan, you've seen Tzeentch so popular at this event is because just whittling them down so they're completely done on units has been next to impossible. And so they've always got points back on the board for you, which has been very positive. And I think that's one of the reasons the Tzeentch army is being seen play. So Julian is 13-13 at the moment. Amazing, that's great, thank you. It's just been very, very close. That's what we're seeing. Ranya. Yeah, right, anyway, so that's on table 5. It looks like this will be a win to Denmark, but it's slowing down. It's slowing down.
Which it's always going to do. Well, as we get towards the end, we've got 37 minutes left in the round. Players probably have roughly split on clocks. We might have some games go the other way. They're going to take their time because this is where every little point matters.
It does. Table number 7, and this was Casper in the bottom of 4, and then you've seen You've seen Morathi move forward. Spiros, it looks like we talked about at the top of the game, he has just been trying his damnedest way he can just to not give away points. So he has just not been charging in, not been fighting, like just shooting anything that comes into range, and then just being like, I'm just going to get battle tactics, score some points. I'm going to get battle tactics, I'm just going to score some points. If we look at the scorecard, 19-12, Casper's always done held 2, held more, but Spiros has been like, I'll hold 1. He's probably hold 1, hold 2. Mike's probably got that wrong. And then he's like, then I'll hold 1, then I'll hold 2, hold more. Like, I'll do my battle tactics. I'm going to lose, but I'm not going to lose by much. And that's the important part. That's what I think he currently wants to achieve.
But look, again, we saw this, as you spoke about, it was a really interesting opening play for the Daughters of Cain. They built their base here, and instead of treating this as their home objective, they treated both, which was a really big move because this was the objective first activated. However, in doing that and in playing a really defensive game, scared about the output of these squigs, what they've let happen is they have not left their home at all. In fact, I think you could probably count on one hand how many inches forward they have gone. Morathi, the only model that actually has gone anywhere, and even that, she's still on her doorstep. She hasn't left the porch, Rob.
Yeah, in fact, I'm not sure the Daughters of Cain, other than the heart renders that they deployed earlier, so they deep struck some heart renders, have lost almost anything.
Yeah, exactly. But look at what we've seen here from the Gits. They've spread out here, and they've said, 1, 2, 3, 4 objectives are ours.
Ooh.
You can have your little porch step, Morathi. Enjoy your time sitting there, because that's the only point you're going to get for the rest of the battle. And
Denmark is just one priority on this one. Let's make sure we get that scorecard updated because it's very interesting. Currently, it looks like it's 19-15. We've got to make sure Spiros gets his score on the board there for that turn. And if he does, with Casper getting the priority into turn 5, means he's going to absolutely be able to get his hold 1, hold 2, hold more, his battle tactic and his grand strat, put him on a resounding lead. But Dan, it's not a big win.
No, and really, let's remember, as we've been looking across this, all of these games, All of these games have been very, very tight, very, very close, which we see it again, real tight. They're not they're not big wins, which is going to keep them back. So if France, yes, we saw that big 19-1 from Ronya into Milledon, would have been an incredible game to watch, but depending on how the other rounds go, we could see an upset because I don't think Denmark are slapping them across the board quite the way they thought they might.
I don't think Belgium was all. Belgium were one of my picks for the event.
Yeah.
They really were, and they had a first tough round, but they picked their heads up, and then they proceeded on through the rest of the event, which I think is fantastic for Belgium. I know that they were keen and they wanted to take the event out, so they're very, very close. So holding Denmark. Now, listen, if they even just hold Denmark to a close draw, they'll be in the likes of France.
True.
England. Holding Denmark down is going to be. Denmark have had easy, in my opinion, no matter what happens with the final scores, Denmark are champions. Obviously, they might not be the winners, but they're champions in my mind. They're doing great. But also Belgium for coming back from a rough first round. It takes a lot to pick you and your team up from a very tough engagement. They've done a good job, and now they're in with the mix.
And look, the thing as well, we've mentioned it before, but I will never stop talking about it. The fact that Denmark have had to go through all the toughest teams in this competition. Every single round, they have been taking on Titans and putting them in the dirt.
They've been doing a really good job. Okay, so we're going to go. We have a result. I think our first result, I don't know if...
this is our first result.
This is our first result, and I don't know if Ziggy wants to put this into the standings right now as he's racking them in.
Wow.
We have 31 points for Denmark to 17 points to Belgium. So that was that Beast of Chaos beating Thibaut pretty hard, which I think has been very, very rough. That was a real good match. I see Thibaut played a really solid game. So a 14-point difference at the moment. Let's put him in a good spot. We'll get that racked up in a moment. So great game, Casper. Great game, Thibaut. Really enjoyed that. So that's the first one. There's only 32 minutes left on the round. 32 minutes left on the round. We have Mouth on table 1 with a dominant lead. Thibaut said it came down to 1 7-inch charge. That's pretty rough for him, but great work, great play. On this table, nice, thank you very much. What table was that?
This is...
we're on table 1 at the moment.
Table 1.
We're on table 1 at the minute, and we're just seeing this Slaanesh force grind out this Fyreslayer force in the middle. They just... First turn, they just put... the Fyreslayers put some units on the objectives, and then Slaanesh just hit them, encircled them, closed them in, and now are just grinding them backwards. This is going to be another major win to Denmark.
This was a really tough pairing for the Fyreslayers. This is, in fact, one of their worst missions. Yeah, sure, they can tunnel units and bring them up, but then you're so split on an army that relies on being able to bring its overlapping buffs together. So yeah, very, very tough, very, very hard, and looking at this, they've just managed to wrap the Fyreslayers up and end them before they could even leave their home, which is just really tough.
Right, so over on table 2, this is, again, Morton, Knight's Empty Throne for Denmark, pulling out a blinder of a charge in the bottom left-hand corner. We're in the bottom of turn 3. He's got a lot of points on the board right now. Start of turn 4. There are currently a lot of points on the board. So it's the start of Carriage and Overlord's turn into turn 4. Make sure the score's updated, please. Mike, if you don't mind, can we get some love for Mike in the chat, please? He's worked all week to make sure the points are updated, so appreciate that.
Mike the cable guy.
Yeah.
He's been he helped us get the network together. That's why we call him that, not because he lays cable.
Yeah. Hey, remember some guy played from England played Knights Empty last year when everyone thought they were. Yes, it's Toby. Hello, Toby. Lovely to see you. I hope you're doing great. I think Knights Empty were doing well last year. Yes, that's correct. But it's lovely to see you. Thanks for the chat.
I just love the story of this unit of knights here. They started the battle up the top. They came all the way down here, killed an Ironclad and slapped around this unit of Thunderers. Now, they didn't finish them because they did just enough. They were like, we came here to kill your boat. They stole their Soul Scream bridge, jumped over here, and then went up to wreck up the frigate on the other side of the board, and then attempted behind them to dispel the bridge and trap them in. And look at that. There's not a surviving dwarf in sight there, where these two are a rock and a hard place met with the dwarves in the middle, and there is not a single one left.
No, they're in a really tough spot here. Although the score currently is 12-12, and I'm going to make sure that stays updated. Thanks, Mike. So it is a pretty close, and KO are about to have their turn, so they are going to be able to pop out. They are slowly losing resources. So it is turn 4, though. Turn 4, so if Denmark do get the win here, the win is going to be close. Or we just have seen a French victory, I think, at the moment. I think we've just seen Iron Jaws take out a game in the French match. I have seen 2 French victories as well. Waiting to see. I know Skaven has sat down for Sweden as well, so that looks like 3 French wins.
Wow. I'm also seeing a lot of Australians standing over there, looking like a lot of matches. Dave Kerr looking confident. We might have had a couple there. Obviously, Australia are going to cap and take the podium, take 3rd place. Definitely going to happen.
So we're on table 4. Christopher has won the priority, and if you look, there's an Alariel not on the board. So the white Alariel belonging to Quentin Dubois of Team Belgium has lost his Alariel in the combo that was happening here. 10-10, so on Sweden's side. Okay, all right, so it looks like France have only won 1 match so far.
Yeah.
France have only won 1 match.
So by the looks of things, we've got...
But they definitely are going to win that Skaven game there, and they're probably going to win that Iron Jaws game.
So it looks like
3-3.
We got 3 match... 3...
5 points. Now 5 points.
We got
Sweden is now 5 points ahead at the minute.
3 results in, Sweden 5 points ahead.
Okay, maybe Zeke can get that result information off Tom in a moment when you can. But yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting.
Look at this. Hams fan, Ronya, big win. She did go down in the last round.
I think he's talking about L'Ariel.
Oh, right. Her Royal Highness. Whenever you refer to a royal person and it comes to competitive Age of Sigmar, it is not a L'Ariel. It's the Night Queen.
Yeah,
Check
exactly.
yourself.
Yeah. So really solid play there.
Yeah.
If we look, so the L'Ariel is down. But Gotrek is still alive. Where is he?
Does he have anything to fight?
It's really rough trying to find one 25mm missile on a board.
Isn't he a 32? Surely he's a 32.
I think he's a 25.
Treat him to a slightly bigger base.
He's a 32, sorry. He's a 32.
Yeah,
that
please.
makes all the difference.
How dare you? Do not diminish my short king any further than his stature already has.
Yeah, that makes.
Is he garrisoned?
He's garrisoned the building.
He's got in the building.
Come on, lads.
He's given up and gone for the beer.
He's just said, "Do you know what? I'm not sure we're going to win this game, lads. I'm just going to go for a pint.
I'm going to get on the terps.
I'm going to let you elves talk to each other because I want no part of you."
I mean, Quinton's had a really rough one of it. He hasn't won a single priority. Every turn he's placed himself in a good position to take advantage of it if he could, but then somehow the man with his head strapped on tight, Christopher, has taken the priority and consistently kept everything. Like, Gotrek is a quarter of his points, an incredible amount of output, but not fast on the board. So that ability to win priority and stay out of his charge range has meant that unit has just been totally stymied.
It does mean he is going to be able to, whenever he comes out of the garrison, threaten either of the 2 objectives. Gives him a little bit more presence because you deploy outside of 6 inches.
Yeah.
So that does mean that he's got more movement than he normally would have. Yeah, so which is quite nice for threatening those objectives. Yeah. But it does look like now it's all going to be on Christopher to just keep grabbing all of these units on the board, which is quite fun to see. Okay, so table 8 is... Oh, no. It's the top of round 4. It
is the Tzeentch player's turn. So we are seeing Alexander... So Alexander only has 4 minutes on the clock, and he's in the top of round 4. Wow, if you do timeout in this format, the only thing you can do for the rest of the time is roll saves and necessary wards.
To be fair, though, I'm not sure he's got... I mean, so he does have a lot of change, or Kairos specifically in the mix there. There's another lot of change grabbing that objective as well, and he has swamped the middle of the board with Spawn as well as Horrors. So he's got a pretty good board position. He is racked up against a Keeper of Secrets on the far-hand side. You can see it on the far right-hand side there, and then it looks like there's some units to slip places. He's picking up just handful of Horrors at the moment. There is a time on turn 2, very possibly. There are 25 minutes left on the round.
Oh, sorry, Ebert's asking, is it turn 2? No, it's not.
No, it's
not
turn 4.
It's turn 4. It is turn 4.
It's turn 4. And then if you look, he's been able to pin in this unit of Secrets. The Slaanesh force has just been slowly dwindled down by each progressive forward movement. And then they are very, very close.
But we only saw one game during singles that timed out at turn 2. But haven't seen that in any of the team's events.
Yeah. The bit that says turn 2 apparently in our overlay is broken. Our website crashed on Wednesday. That does all of our overlays and stuff. So the scores all update. There you go. It's 15-12. Just that part doesn't work right now. We haven't been able to put which battle tactics are on because the players right now don't have time to write it down themselves. So Mike isn't able to put them out. If you time out, don't you score any remaining turns, even one more too, right? I don't think so. No. I'm pretty certain you don't.
I don't think you can score objectives if you don't have time on the board because you don't actually get to take a turn.
Yeah. You just get to roll saves.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But so this is going to be a close match. So if we go through again, Table 1 is definitely going to go to Denmark. Table 2 is most likely to go to Denmark. Still waiting to see there. Table 3 is all over. Oh, Table 1, we've just had... No, not Table 2. Table 2, we've just had the Courage and Overlord score finish. We then will get into the... We will get into the Knights of the Empty Throne Saves to Darkness turn 4. So they'll get to take that turn.
Yes.
Just been handed a bit of paper, Dan. Spain versus USA.
What's on this bit of paper?
Spain, a 3-1 up. But the remaining games looking good for the USA. Going to be close.
Ooh.
So Spain will be really happy about that. USA a little bit gutted.
Yeah, absolutely. But the USA can't be disappointed with their performance at this event. They've taken out some of the kings. They've gone for royalty. And pipping England has got to be the cherry on top for them.
Yeah, and then England versus Italy. England are currently 3-1 up, but also going to be close, apparently.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And the Swedish match so far, we have heard that currently Sweden are in the lead, but there are lots of games to come in. I can see at least 2 French games which are going, 2 matches which are going France's way. So I'm going to say it's 3-3 for Sweden versus Italy, versus France at the minute. So that puts that close. That means there isn't a team. There's lots of other scores to come in.
So many.
But right now... Dan, you should become the official commentator of every stream BOC versus LRL game.
I'd be happy to do it. I'll stream LRL every day of the week because talking about them getting their pointy-headed little ponytail scalped brings me a level of joy that I have not experienced in a long time.
Good, I'm glad. Okay, so right now there are points and results coming in all over, but we actually haven't had anything official. So I'm just running off what we know. Rumours, whispers, results being handed in. So table 6, we have got Courage and Overlords. The scorers update, Courage and Overlords have got turn 5. I got to say, Julian is absolutely scrapping for every point on the board here.
Absolutely.
He is, with his Tzeentch force, it's currently 17-16 to Belgium. And then we've still got, are we into turn 5? Who's won the priority? Let's go. This is the top of turn 5, KO turn. They need to push out. What's left? There's a Flux Master here. It looks like.
Yeah.
They're shooting now. They're just going to try and clear as much as they can.
Yeah.
Grab all the objectives. They also need to score their their grand strategy. This is going to be super close because while they've got a dominant board position, the points are thrilling.
Yeah. They do have a dominant board position, but they haven't been able to run away with the points, which means that they only have one more turn to score, which means that, this could be anyone's game. It's insane.
It is very crazy. It is very crazy. So I'm very much excited to see how this pans out, Dan. Table 7, this is the very close game. It looks like it's definitely going to Denmark, as you can see. The points definitely go to Denmark there. Over on table 8, Alexander with his Guild of Summoners. We just talked about this. It looks like he's closing the net on Valentin's Godseekers, but he lost all those horrors in the middle this turn. He's got 2 minutes 50 left on the clock. He's lost so many models in the center, but not many models left for Valentin. He has been able to rotate his Keeper of Secrets from the right-hand objective up to the left-hand side. That's what he's been able to do. Great job there. It's been very, very close. He's going for a Desecrate. Which hopefully it's not a Garrison, otherwise you will have to be... it's not, it's a Forest, as you can see. It's a Forest, it's fine. He will have to Garrison it. And then...
Rob.
Yeah, Dan, you're getting tired.
Oh, no, I'm like, I don't know how long a human body is supposed to operate at this level of excitement.
Tense.
Yeah.
Tense.
Yeah.
Well, it's because we're waiting, because at this point now, we kind of know where the games are going, but we need the scores. Don't forget, I don't know if we've got our overlay... Oh, yeah. We have our race to the bottom results. I don't know if you're interested.
Great, yes.
So this is Ireland and Serbia battling it out to be Battle of the Bottoms.
Now, Serbia on debut. They are a group that came together, and they debut, and they have done a little debut, which is fine.
What table?
And Ireland with the catch cry of anything but last. Now, both teams not looking strong, but that wooden spoon is looming for both.
Yeah, Ireland got beat by the USA pretty rough. Austria gave them... they then won against Austria. Come on. Then they got beat by Norway resoundingly. They managed to take out Serbia by 4 points. 4 points. 4 points. Then Canada gave them a kicking.
Now, Rob, the thing we got to talk about, Serbia went down to Poland, went down to the Czech Republic, went down to Austria, went down to Ireland,
by 4 points.
Went down to Northern Ireland. However, they are still only 3 points behind Ireland because no one has managed to cap them.
Yeah, that's it. No one's got the big cap on them.
Amazing job, Serbia.
Okay, so anything but last. If you saw the team interviews, that's all they were about. It was just anything but last for them. So wait, table 1 result.
We are going to table 1 for a result. There is
and that's it. Oh, it's a very big win for the Dutch. There you can see it. They're going to be super happy about that. The Danish, sorry, that different to the Dutch. The Danish.
Yeah, it's like
Danish.
It's like you have a Danish pastry and you have a Dutch.
Yeah, okay,
I don't know, gravy.
Yeah, so that looks like a massive win for Mouth again.
Yeah, wow.
Playing really solid with that. Maybe it's just a much harder army to play than we've seen in previous games. Super tough match, well done. So 27-16, a big win. He's going to be super happy about that. Yeah. Brilliant work. So that's another definite one for the Danish.
Yeah,
we haven't had any other results in so far.
2 locked in so far. So
we've had, locked in.
Table 1 and table 3 we've had a result. KO versus Slaves to Darkness on table 2. It is still
table 1. Table 2. Table 2.
It is still it's.
So Courage and Overlords, 1 priority into round 5. We'll make sure this score is updated. It currently looks like it's 15-15. There is only a unit of Vanguard here, and they're about to get shot by that unit of KO. He failed to dispel the bridge again.
Oh, that's huge. So, just to remind everyone, the KO, they had their frigate and a unit here. They had the Ironclad and a unit here. The Slaves to Darkness had an epic first turn. A Vanguard unit came down here and killed the Ironclad. They came down here. They killed the frigate. That unit of Vanguard abandoned the unit of Thunderers, came through the bridge, and then came over to clear this objective completely. They've then turned around and come back after losing a huge chunk of models to shooting, only to fail to dispel this bridge twice more, allowing that unit of Thunderers that they'd left stranded and boatless to jump back through, set up a firing line, and now they might clear them off, meaning that the KO could be in a position to outscore and take this match. Rob,
no, that's huge.
That would be insane.
Belgium really need this. Belgium want to get some wins back on the board.
Yeah,
and they've already gone down 2. They need to get more for themselves.
Yeah.
And if the Swedish and French match is as close as it's being discussed, then absolutely everyone. There is 16 minutes left on the clock for the event, but for the players, for KO, he's only got He's got 5 seconds left on his clock. After this, he won't be able to roll any more attacks.
He can only finish this attack.
He's timed out. He's timed out. He can't roll anything. If this is the Karajan Overlords player now, cannot roll any more attacks. He is timed out. He hasn't been able to finish it. So all he can do is roll saves. Morton has 7.5 minutes to finish his turn, score as many points as possible. That David has not been able to finish his time.
Wow. Was he able to finish that round of shooting?
No. So we've got a result on table 6. We'll come back to that game in a minute.
Okay,
table 6, and this was Karajan Overlords versus our Lumineth Realm Lords. Played really well by Julian, fighting down scraps. Zinch. Karajan Overlords versus Zinch, fighting for the very scraps right at the end. And as you can see, it's a slim win to Denmark.
Denmark by 1 point.
Denmark by 1 point
now
in
remember,
that game.
Denmark it's not about winning rounds, it's about big point scores, because what they're competing with at the moment, if you were to consider the two front runners being France and Denmark, France currently playing Sweden. We see a lot of their tables are finished, so we'll probably get an update from that shortly. We see Denmark going into Belgium. Whichever team scores higher will most likely place themselves at the top on the podium. So really, really big. So holding them to such a tight win, that's not going to feel good for Denmark, even though they got the win.
Absolutely not. No, they're going to feel very tough about that. But they get the points.
They get the points.
And at this point, every point is going to matter. So table 5, it is the top of round 5, and it's a Beast of Chaos turn. It looks like that Belgium and Nicholas has done such a great job. Nicholas has only got 40 seconds left on his clock.
Oh, wow.
Belgium really struggling all the time on some of these games. You can see he's putting those units. Rune giving him all of the finger points there. Giving all the finger guns and just saying, look, get on with it. You need to finish. You can see Teclis has moved into the top right-hand corner. Beast of Chaos have rotated down into looks like the bottom left-hand corner. Can Rune in his turn 5, because Rune's still got a turn 5.
Yeah.
Can he clear the board and just get these points back and turn what looked to be a savage beating from the first few turns into a very close marginal win? He's got to do a lot to get there. We'll see.
And here's the thing, Rob. I'll be straight with you. As much as I am rooting for Belgium because they brought Gotrek in one of their lists, Denmark has my heart because they have had the toughest slog through this competition. And if you ask me, they deserve the win. And I would love to see them on top of the podium. They've taken down England. They've taken down the USA. They've taken down France. Looks like
they're the deserved winners
for me.
Unless Belgium give them the resounding beating now. Which they very much could do.
They still could do.
They could do. Then they're the deserved winners of the event so far because they've played all of the other people.
Absolutely.
But it's looking, I would say it's looking, I don't know what the result is. Get me a result for France. That's what I want right now.
Yeah.
And we'll double check to make sure Ziggy is totaling up our scores between at least the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
Nothing else really matters apart from the top 4 teams.
Oh, no, except Australia.
No, it doesn't. That matters for later, Dan. That doesn't matter. Denmark has 47 points for the first. Pardon me? Table 7.
It sounds like we have a result.
Table 7 does have a result, and that's Casper. And that's Spiros. And then Spiros with his Daughters of Cain, who managed to make sure it was a close win, but Casper with a 27-19 against...
an 8-point lead. Okay, not bad, but again, you need a full 20-point lead, 20-point lead to fully cap a match.
Yes, you do. As of now, what the strength of schedule scores at the top. Jacob, we don't know that information. That's put somewhere else. I'm really sorry.
It's put into a bog.
Yeah,
It's
actually put into a piece of paper, then it's put into Pun Pun. Give it to the Pun Pun. So I feel like Denmark's has to be way higher than anyone else. Oh, the strength of schedule, yeah. We did have that. Graphic for a little bit earlier, but we don't have that available right now.
But I believe the strength of schedule only matters for if there's a tie, correct?
Yes.
And it doesn't look like there'll be a tie.
No, it doesn't look like there'll be a tie at the moment. And getting a tie is incredibly difficult because Okay, so there you go. So that's the current strength of schedule. Denmark beat Canada, England, USA, France, Sweden. currently playing Belgium. France play Germany, Australia, Poland, Denmark, Italy. And they're currently playing against Sweden. So a very, very...
Very tight race. Very tight race.
Very tight race. Okay. Sweden and France, all they can give is it's close. Super tense right now. Both captains sweating bullets. It's close isn't bad, though. It's close. Yeah. It's close for France. That's fine. It's close. It's close for France. And Sweden means that that's more hope for the Danish and the Belgians here. So currently, though, Belgium in the lead in these matches. Not Belgium, sorry, Denmark in the lead
we
in
have
these matches.
Four matches going to Denmark, 2 of them only by a very slim margin.
But 2 of them big.
2 of them big.
2 of them big.
2 of them big.
2 of them big, which is quite interesting. I don't think we have any more results so far. So table 2 has been called.
Table 2?
No, table 1 has been called. Table 2 is waiting to be called. Oh, and look, they were able to take 3 Varangard out, but don't forget, David for Team Belgium has run out of time.
So they're not going to be unleashing hell when they get charged. They're not going to be redeploying out. That will be massive. They also won't be using command abilities, so no all-out defense. That will be massive.
Okay, yeah, no all-out defense. They won't be able to do anything but roll saves. Yeah. Okay, so very, very, very close so far. Yeah. Right, so we're just going to jump up. What's the points? We will be able to bring you the points standings after round 5, but it does require, we'll do that in a minute, but there's 2-point difference with Denmark currently 2 points ahead of France.
Yeah.
That was the difference. And then, okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Then we got table 5. We have this match. We're looking for, look at this, so close.
Yeah.
So close. Rune and Nicholas have played a blinder, and we are just waiting to see if Rune can pull off a massive win here.
He needs
not a massive win. He needs some points on the board.
He needs 4 points to tie it up.
4 points to tie it up. We just did get some results from one of the games, though. Norway beating Scotland 99-61. Actually, if I was Team Scotland, I'd be really happy with my results at this event. Scotland definitely not what I would consider to be one of the top performing teams.
Yeah.
And even only getting 61 points out of Norway means they're in a good spot. So I think that's good.
Awesome.
Come on. So there's Rune. He's at the Rune level. That's what we call it now.
Yep, that's how we know he's about to pull something magical out
what
of the
did
bag.
we just see? Did he just roll something good?
We've got a TO in there even. Look at him.
Tom.
Look at that tall drink
Tom
of water.
doing some measuring, seeing if he can do the work. Can he do it? Okay. Because Rune knows. Rune's like, I'm at the Rune level.
Rune looks like he's smiling. Nope, the smile's gone away.
Okay, yeah. So it's whether or not it's a 10 or 11-inch charge. So there we go. Is basically has Teclis charged that unit in the bottom left-hand corner?
It looks like he has.
Oh boy!
Oh, Rune going
this is huge
because
then he's gonna hold 1 objective, hold 2 because he capped that early and he's still holding it. If Teclis doesn't whiff and then takes this unit out, takes this objective out, then he's going to hold more. That's going to get him 3 points. That's going to make it 2019.
What's his battle tactic for this round?
That's his battle tactic. We've got to find out what that is, and then it's going to come down to grand strategies. I cannot believe he's just made a 10-inch charge that he needed to maybe give him the points for his team to win the World Team Championships. That's not a guarantee right now, but every point counts, and he's made it.
Yeah, Rune. He got down to Rune level, and he managed to make it happen.
He's there again. Look where he rolls dice. He rolls dice at his opponent's side of the board.
Look at that. When we look at Scrivos, look at the heat emanating from there. That's Rune temperature.
Come on, Nicholas is just holding on for dear life. He's done everything he could in the first couple of turns.
Rune temperature.
Yeah,
it's Rune temperature.
That's what it is.
My gosh.
Like, how many did he take off? That's the real question.
Because he's got to take him off, and then it'll be the question of battle shock as well. Remember, they're near the Rune of Petrification.
It doesn't matter because he's a monster. He counts as 5 on the objective. He just needs to have killed enough. There you go. There's only 3 left.
There's 3.
It only depends if that is a battle tactic.
They're all heard. Does Nicholas have a turn? He doesn't have a turn to bring any models back.
Nicholas is done. Oh no! All herd does happen at the end. At the end of the battle shock.
Did we just see a handshake?
Does he remembered? It's D3 plus 3. If he's got 3 on the board, he can put 6 back.
Does he have any time left?
Oh, he's got no time left. Rune didn't get the point. Oh, so he didn't get the point. Look, he didn't kill enough.
So he's only got 4.
Teclis failed the combat.
Just like an elf would.
Oh my God!
Teclis, you
That puts a
magical.
To be fair, that looked like that was never going Rune's way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a win for Belgium.
That's
a win for Belgium.
That's going to be a tight win, I think, if you got
on table number 5.
On table 5.
Table 5.
Table 5.
Great handshake there. Can he do that even though he timed out? No, he couldn't, but he didn't do it. He didn't put enough models back on. Going over to table 2, we have a result apparently, if that's right, on table 2. Another win for Belgium.
Belgium again.
Fans of Denmark, it is not happening right now.
Oh, wow.
Belgium are pulling it back one at a time.
Table 4 result, Sylvaneth versus Sylvaneth.
If it's Christopher again, Jesus, he did it. I can't believe it. That guy's a genius. Christopher with the big win there. That puts a win for Denmark. He won all the priors. He hasn't won them for like 30 priors, and now he's finally got it.
And then Quinton couldn't win a priority if his game depended on it. So at the moment we have Table 1, Denmark, Table 2, Belgium, Table 3 and 4, Denmark, Table 5, Belgium, Table 6, Denmark, and we're waiting to hear from Table 8 because Table 7 is
Denmark. So what's
Denmark.
that give us as a total?
We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables to Denmark, 2 tables to Belgium, 1 table yet to go.
I mean, that's not bad if you're
8.
Belgium. That's not bad. That's already 50 points on the board.
That's already 50.
Right, that's all because a win's over 10.
Wins at least 10.
Wins at least 10. That's 50 for them already.
So what is going on table 8?
Table 8. Okay, so this is, I think this is Alexander. Okay, we just heard, if anyone is a fan of England have just got 93 points against Team Italy.
Wow, Italy keeping them to 67.
Points.
They'll be happy about that.
Okay, and we're just hearing, no, don't say it's 94 with any games left. Total. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to do the math at home with us,
Ziggy, get on the stats. We got some numbers for you.
This is the numbers. I don't know. Can we get a recap on the numbers from that match,
please?
So the final result.
Please, we've got it. We've got it here. We've got it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, Rob, we need to start with France. France versus Sweden.
So we
just got handed a piece of paper.
So France scored. Don't forget, France were 2 points down.
2 points down.
2 points down. France scored 94 points.
Massive. Now remember, they were only 2 points behind Denmark.
That means
so
Denmark
how much does
need 96 points.
They need 96 points.
96 points to win the event. They have just got 103 points. The World Team Champions 2023 is Denmark.
Congratulations, Denmark. And we are being handed the sheet, Rob. Here it is.
Well, congratulations to the World Team Champs, Denmark.
Denmark have taken it out.
What? Yeah, you did it.
Get in here.
You did it.
Look at them. There's cuddles. I'm seeing hugs out there. They're running in. Look at them. Oh,
no.
It's the beefiest. John, get in there. It's the beefiest hugs. It's the thickest boys.
Let's go see the big boys.
Now, Rob, this morning I went to the gym to be ready for this, and I saw a bunch of them kettlebells, weights, sweats, and muscle.
Look at that.
There
we go. The World Team Champs 2023. Great work. Absolutely. They broke my microphone. I think that's what happened. They're all good. Well done. Belgium doing a great job there.
Amazing.
What a result.
Huge.
That was absolutely brilliant.
What a play.
Yeah. Commiserations to France.
They must have played an absolute blinder to hit 94.
94 points is massive.
Especially with Ronja taking 19 away from them, going 19-1.
But let's just commit for a moment that Denmark didn't mess around. They finished on 103 to round out the event.
And let's also give Belgium all the props. An amazing round. They fought a bunch of valiant defeats and really made Denmark work for it. Denmark truly have played incredibly and through the toughest this competition had to offer.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. We're in a final match. Some other matches coming in now. USA versus Spain. USA dropped the round there. USA got 73. Spain got 84 or whatever the situation is. absolutely fantastic. Oh, it's so delightful. Look at this.
Look
the
at him.
Swedish coming in.
The Swedes have come
in to give him a cuddle.
They're in there as well.
Absolutely delightful. And who says, anyone who ever says competitive Warhammer isn't just a game of absolute legends having a lovely time is incredibly wrong. You need only look at the enthusiasm and the excitement. Or Alexander just feeling the emotion there. That's absolutely brilliant. It's lovely to see that. Oh, the French team are in there now. Amazing. Congratulations to Denmark. A well-deserved victory, I think. It's lovely to see. What a wonderful 3 days.
Wow.
What a wonderful 3 days.
Oh, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff.
Amazing to watch. We've seen incredible war dollies played. We've seen wonderful people. We've seen incredible strategies. This has just been spectacular.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Please do. That would be so great. Just a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Teams just playing really well all across the board. The French doing amazingly well.
Yeah.
So close. They work their hearts out to get so close at the top. I think they are, I'm trying to do the math, they are 9 points behind in second place. Only 9 points. That's incredible. Look at that. Team America, Tom Guan in there now, just congratulating them.
Yeah.
They've already got a beer. Look at Christopher. Christopher's like never, ever, like he's
literally,
incredible.
Beers came out of nowhere,
Great
Rob.
job,
Beers flew. They appeared in the
There's
hands of the victors.
room temperature.
There he is. That beer, see, it's far too cold for it to be room temperature.
Yeah.
He is warm under the collar. That was a big game, and he played incredibly. Because, again, all of those games,
Denmark, the world champions. No, it's not. Denmark are the world champions. Quite deserved. Denmark 9 points over France in second place. Congratulations to them. They've done amazingly well.
Massive job. Truly huge. Oh, Rob. What a round. What an absolute banger of a round.
Look, 9 points, Stan.
9 points.
9 points.
The World Team Championships 2023, there was no runaway victory, Rob. There was a sparrow's fart in it.
That's so close. You've got to feel gutted for the French team. They worked so hard. Second place last year. Second place this year. They couldn't. Congratulations to Denmark. There we go. There we go. Congratulations.
Look at the man with the headband keeping it locked in.
With some of the most amazing Warhammer I've ever seen.
Look at him, he's exhausted.
Congratulations, buddy. Well done.
Thank you, Rob. Get in there, mate. Yes.
Really good.
Incredible.
All right, listen. We will give you the final updates, and we will stream the results when the results come in.
Yeah.
No, we'll do the results when that comes in. Yeah. We'll stream the award ceremony.
Yeah.
But from us for Dan, can we get a round of applause for Dan in the chat, doing great, and then to all of the rest of the crew, Ziggy for bringing you all the stats info. He's off now to make sure you get all of the live results.
Yep.
To the wonderful Mike for updating the overlays. Yep. John with the great camera work.
John's been putting his legs and his body on the line.
Yeah, they absolutely brilliant. And then to Charlie for doing the most wonderful job. He did such an amazing job giving the updates, and to Mark making sure everything was also brilliant.
Incredible.
Thank you to all of you.
Incredible.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone for tuning in live. I hope you all had an amazing time. A great time. Let's go at the World Team Championships.
And Rob, thank you for being the heart and soul that brought it all together, because this team is only as good as its captain, and you have led where we wanted to follow.
It's my pleasure. It's just lovely to see. Look at this. This is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of people cuddling, shaking hands. Look, everyone congratulating everyone.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that that's just how lovely competitive Warhammer is.
Yeah.
Competitive Warhammer is brilliant. It's lovely. Go to events. Build up your little local communities. Have a great time. That's it from me until we come back to the award ceremony. That's it from the team. You've all been great. See you soon.